Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the GeekVerse podcast, the 649th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the February 1ster, Trav Snell, and I'm joined by...
Dinosaur Man, Taylor Field.
You know, I'm sure everyone's pretty happy to hear my voice back on the news. In general, check out Travis Told You I Did. It was supposed to be an hour, almost 2 hours. Thank you to the listeners, everything. Lots of good tales, lots of good stories about the twins, lots of good talking about February 1st, which you guys had lots of fun with. Was that a good experience for you, Taylor? February 1st, you know?
This guy thought he was so coy and clever. We knew from the first second, like, oh, it's probably Travis.
I don't know. There's a couple times
this man loves to be an imposter.
You can go back and watch him. I had them on the ropes a couple times, and especially that one I didn't put in the intro, but the one where I popped in the room and popped out. I freaked you guys out good there, but
you did do that intentionally.
I did.
Freaking
Yes.
knew it.
Yeah,
We knew it.
You knew it, but like, they still ask me. They don't. This is why I know they don't 100%
We expect you
know
to
it.
be honest.
Why
It's
would
like,
I be
oh,
honest if I'm
that
being
wasn't
sneaky?
me.
You know, just like
Being
you being
sneaky.
Travis Smells. I know you're Travis Smells. It's the longest long con. It has to be someone we know. Or I wondered if people don't know who Travis Smells is. It was back in 2016 when me and Taylor had our first match. Someone edited it in a way to just make me look poorly. And then for like 2.5 years, they edited multiple videos just to make me look dumb or whatever. And they're quite funny. Some good edited, some not. I wonder because he's a little editing background. And the only person, because as I said in Trash Told You, everyone showed their face card. Everyone revealed it. They missed me. They wished me luck. All the listeners and fans that give me shit, except for one. And that's Carl Ritchie. Carl Ritchie, on my return video, dropped a sad emoji on Facebook. He's the only person that did not wish me well.
I did see that. I was going to
Yes.
comment, but I didn't comment. I was like, I'm just going to let that be.
So I know he has video editing. I know that's part of one of his jobs he does. And I did click that he's been around for a while. I'm gonna next after 9, because I know he doesn't listen as much, or he's lying. Next after 9, I'm gonna confront him. I gotta see his face. I gotta say, do you know, are you Trash Smells? Or I gotta ask
He
some
wasn't on
question.
the last After 9, coincidentally.
What would that do with this story?
I don't know. Just maybe he's not going to be on After 9s now.
Just derail me. First newscast back, already derailing me. You know. So how's the balls holding together, Taylor? I'm sorry
The
about
what?
that, but your balls.
Oh,
when they got,
yeah.
Need on the return there.
They're still hanging.
That's good. They're still
That's
hanging.
good.
That's
Still
good.
hanging.
Yeah, I had to do that because I have to ask you on air. Are you part of this attack that happened to me in December? Did you do the attack?
No, I did not do the
Did you hire someone to do the attack? Oh, wait a second.
No. I mean, if I had to pick anyone, I think it's probably Carl Ritchie that did this attack. Now, probably since you're naming names.
It could be because he dropped the sad emoji. I do think it is very, I usually jump to Taylor, but I do think Pansol has not been seen in a very long time. Last time we unmasked that person, it was Taylor, and that revealed some secrets. I haven't ruled you out yet. As I said on Trash Told You, there is going to be an investigation on who attacked me in December. All lawyers always involved. I'm even more ready. I had to sign an affidavit while I was gone. True story. I had to talk to a courthouse. Everything. Lots of things went on since I was gone for other stuff. So I'm way more legal affiliated than ever. But I do think it's a little conspicuous that both Dildog and Kirko Banks are not here. Yeah, Dildog, my favorite. But they're not here. It's almost like they knew I was going to ask this question, right? Because now they know like the drafts are coming up, like the movie reviews, newscasts, when we get to be light and have some fun and talk about life and everything. They knew I was going to ask about the attack, and they're both not here. Dylan, he tested Wi-Fi with me the other night because he moved. It works. He could be here. And Kirkland, like 5 minutes before, no showed. He's like, "Oh, I can't make it." So who knows what he's up to? But yeah, I will confront them at some point, and it will be resolved. But it is good to be back. I'm happy to hear the music, which I did not hear a single time since I was off.
Like the intro music?
Like the intro music, yeah.
Well,
not a
me and
single
Kirkland,
time.
we went off the rails with that. We did our duo intro.
But you already do that for reviews. You don't even do that for the main show. In the main show, to me, I remember we had the old theme that Dylan created, I think with one of his friends, and it was good. But then I remember around the time, and Dylan had left, and Jessica had left, and Briggs left. We got left by a lot of people. For like 3 years, it was just me, Kirkland, and Taylor. So it's kind of like a new era, right? And I remember when GUA started, they all had these theme songs, and Taylor messaged me, he's like, "Oh, look, these rock songs are cool. Like, I wish we had something like that." And it was no disrespect to Dylan, but I'm like, yeah, I think we're in a different era now. We're a bit more like, brawling, spitfires, like to have a little fun, a little crazy. So let's get something rock and roll. Dive deep into my bag of tricks, get some great music my uncle composed back in the day, great rock and roll. got the full head thumbs up and then didn't hear a single word while I was gone. Disrespectful to me, my dead uncle. My God,
Yeah, we ushered in a new age. You know, we tried
it's
sending you
over.
messages, talking
It,
to you about it, but you were just
it's
ghosting us. So.
February 1st happened and it's over and we're here. So yes, we have a big newscast tonight. There's gonna be another newscast we're recording right after this. So I'm not sure if we're gonna stay live or whatnot. Who knows? We will get a trailer. I see some comments in the YouTube chat, so don't worry. We're about to get there right now. Jump into it. Most importantly, just subscribe to the feed, whether it's here or on Patreon. Patreon, we got lots of stuff. You guys will do your Daredevil season 3 retrospective, which have been really good to listen to. I'm almost done 2, so that's been fun. But Daredevil Born Again's coming up. We have our Fantastic Four. Funny enough, our Fantastic Four retro. So we reviewed all 4 movies. Yes, even the unreleased one, the Roger Corman one. And then we have the Superman retrospective, which is the Reeve movies, Supergirl, and Superman Returns. Those retrospectives are exclusive to Patreon, so you want to get that. That's just $5 a month. That's a cup of coffee. Not even. It's less than a cup of coffee nowadays. The way coffee costs, and I guarantee you that coffee might get you a little bit. A month worth of Geekverse, way more than the cup of coffee. So, and that's the best way to support us, because if you hear any ads in this episode, you get them ad free. After 9, a whole bunch of benefits and a bunch of different tiers too. Just before Taylor goes, not to cut him off, but a shout out to the Patreon producers, because I haven't done this well. Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Muds, Sam, Superbad, Mike, The God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner still holding it down, and Charlie Randall. A big thank you. That's the tier where you can pick a movie for us to review, but also you just get a shout out. You get every single tier episode, bread and butter, the originals, which we're going to do an originals later on this month because we want to hear about Taylor's trip. We're going to talk about some more twin stuff with me. See how Dylan's moves going. Kirkland's 1 year away from 30, so he's probably he's really worried right now. He's like, oh man, Shay's gonna leave me because I'm getting so old. She hates my little mouth because I can't get around her. Actually, never mind, we're not gonna go there. But what were we gonna say, Taylor Field?
No, I was just exhaling, and then one thing led to another.
Good. Exhale. Exhale into the mic. This is our 10th year of it will be our 10th year of podcasting. This man decides I'm going to breathe into the mic. But yeah, we got lots of good conversations here. We're talking about Fantastic Four trailer. We're talking about there's been juicy X-Men rumors for the past 2 weeks. We're going to talk about all the Resident Evil and Alien films. And the trailers we're going to talk about later because I didn't watch them. So I'm going to have to boot that to another time. So I'm going to move a topic around. So don't you worry.
Which trailers are you booting?
All of them.
Okay, I didn't watch any either, so boot them.
Okay. Well, no, we'll put them on when we do Super Bowl
Final
Sunday.
Destination. I can talk about that one. I watched that one.
Perfect, but I'll keep them for Super Bowl Sunday. We can just do a whole, because we're already doing the trailers. So I think, but at least, yeah. And that's the other thing, last thing to plug. We'll be back for Super Bowl Sunday. Also, we already got Fantastic Four. We're getting Jurassic World tomorrow, which is odd, but obviously we don't have that cast. So yeah, we will do that. There's lots of stuff on the feeds. And then lastly to announce, I said this on Travis, told you, we talked about it a little bit before I left, but Weekly Geek in March will be returning. That's a show where, because there's so much stuff like Last of Us, Daredevil, I feel like we have another show Andor. There's lots of shows coming up in the springtime. We don't want to miss the news, but it's also hard for all of us to always do all those reviews, the movie reviews, Patreon stuff, and then news. Weekly Geek is like a weekly episode where it's always 2 of us. So it's me and Taylor, Kirkland, Dylan, Taylor, stuff like that. And we will cover the news. If there's a free week with no reviews or TV reviews, of course. And every month we'll for sure do at least one 4-man episode because, it's good to have all of us together for once. But Weekly Geek will be back because lately, Taylor, the news has just been flowing since I thought you guys would have, because I knew you guys would have all the reviews, but multiplies that, okay, December, usually December is going to be quiet. Even in LA, with the fires, it was a couple days, a week of no news, and then just went right back to it. So it's going to be a frothy year, juicy year.
Yeah, I mean, December, I'm pretty sure we slid in 2 extra newscasts that we weren't planning to do because the reviews were already loading up the feeds. So yeah, we're on a hot and heavy start right now.
Yeah, so Weekly Geek, that'll come back. We don't really have a day. Kind of depends on our schedule, but that's going to make sure any news, we're talking about it. So, Superbad Mike, thank you. Look at Travis doing the intro like no time has passed, a total pro. Yeah, thank you. My God, sitting back, watching you guys do the news sometime. My good, especially sending Taylor some articles or just here's some news. does no research. I applaud him. Eventually started doing some research, but there were sometimes he just read them verbatim, literally just notes I had, personal notes like, oh, and I'm gone Tuesday. Like, oh no, that's not part of the news. Like, geez Louise. But let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it, because obviously people want to talk about this trailer. I see it already. Taylor, Phil, can you pull up the trailer to share? And we are going to go scene by scene, but we'll break it down overall. I'll throw it to the chat right in because we already got some comments in there. AR Riddle Room said the trailer felt more like a Sue Storm movie than a Fantastic Four teaser. All the males got nerfed. Johnny no talking, Reed crying, no powers, Thing cooking, Galactus mini. Just feel like Sue's the only one who looks strong, and why is she the tallest person on the team? The husband can literally stretch. Okay, I got a few issues with you there, AI Riddle Room, with everything going on. One, I don't think her being tall really matters at all, because it's just like a person's height. Like, that's being like watching Spider-Man being like, why is MJ taller than Tom Holland? It's like, it doesn't really matter. It's just like the person's body, right? If, like, I don't know how much you follow rumors, everything like that, but since we've been covering, I imagine Taylor would remember this, but since we were covering this, even before people cast, we had heard that Sue Storm was like the main character of the movie, right? And like, it was family. Yeah, it's a family for, you can put it down now while we're talking. We'll bring it up in a second, but it's like the Fantastic Four, but you still need a lead, right? The same way as, like, I don't care what people say, I love Captain America. For majority of the Avengers films, like, Tony Stark's the main character, right? It's not from his point of view, but he is number one character A. X-Men, they gave that to Wolverine, right? And in all the other Fantastic Fours movies, it's Reed. So, like, the fact that, to me, it's like we're getting the fifth movie, if you count the unreleased one, and it's shifting to a different character, I'm fine with that, especially because it's Vanessa Kirby, who... Oh, that'd be tough. I'm trying to think who is a better actor between her and Pedro, but I say they're neck and neck. They're both very, very talented. So for me, it's no issue. Reed crying doesn't really do anything for me because characters cry all the time in these things. And it's like, it's a teaser. So that's what I'd say, AI, is like, get ready, because like, it's all like, that's always been reports from trades, reports that like Sue Storm is the main character of this movie. So, and like I said, I think we're in good hands. So Galactus, we can talk about a little bit later. Maybe he's on the smaller side, but hopefully he can get bigger. But SPUB says, I like the Thing design a lot. I see why some people might not, but it feels straight out of the comic book. Gives me vibes of those original Ninja Turtle movies, but better looking. And absolutely. And I will go after Taylor talks, because I've been talking a lot. So Taylor, what did you think of this first teaser trailer? Obviously very anticipated. I feel like we've been at least talking about this since 2018, obviously probably before, but 2018, because that's when Marvel got the rights. And now what, we were almost 7 years later, I guess. So I guess almost a decade it feels like, but still we are close to a decade away from that purchase. We're finally here. Seems like it's coming out in July, because the trailer dropped, the poster dropped. They have that date, which we'll talk about in a little bit later. It is 2 weeks after Superman, so they're not budging. They're not moving. It looks like we're getting that sandwich. So what do you think about this for the first official look of the Fantastic Four?
Oh, it's fantastic. I loved how it felt very vintage, like 60s vibe at the start. It gave me WandaVision kind of feels, with just the way they were shooting with the TV, kind of like the full screen.
Say that again?
I was too late. I forgot where it was. There's a lot of videos because we got random stuff.
Is it titties?
Like, there's a lot of random stuff in these videos.
There's a lot of good stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And there's that It's Cooking video. I forgot what that was. Me and Kirkland were looking into that.
That's for the gimmick. That's when I came back to the gimmick.
Okay,
yeah. Don't worry about that. Check out the gimmick. Third biggest episode so far. Continue.
But yeah, I just love how it felt very retro. I thought it was very fitting and very cool. And that slowly transitions, I'm assuming, after they get their powers and they move into like being a little bit more modern, where just the quality of the picture changes to a little bit more high res. And I like that. It's very fun. It's very fitting. It gave me that WandaVision vibe to some slight degree, because WandaVision played off of that.
Well, and it's the director of WandaVision.
Same director. Yeah, yes. I was gonna
okay, I wasn't sure.
Not touch upon that, but I'm glad you threw it out there. So I think it's stellar. It's fantastic. I think everyone coming to bat in these roles is fantastic.
Say that again?
That's the last one for me.
I think Vanessa Kirby being like the Invisible Woman being the main go-to head honcho here. I think that's fantastic. I have no problem with that at all. I think it's great. I don't have any problems with her being the main character.
Do you have problems with her being tall?
I do not.
She's too tall. Can't be taller than the men. Not my lead. Can't do that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's totally fine. Joseph Quinn, I was getting amazing vibes and energy from him as Johnny in this. I was totally just eating that up, and maybe because I'm still just riding off of him in Stranger Things and From a Quiet Place, like I'm thinking, this guy's awesome. I'm so happy he's in the Marvel universe. I'm so happy he's playing Johnny. He fits that role very well. And Pedro is just Pedro's Pedro. He's great. I love him in everything he does. He's fantastic. He's got a hot year this year. I mean, or maybe next year too, because with Mando Grogu, Last of Us Part 2, and now this, and he's
a horror movie
off.
coming out too.
What's the horror movie?
I think it's called Freaky Tales or something like that. It's like an ensemble. It's a trick or treat movie, not like to take place at Halloween, but it is like multiple stories run together. And I've heard it's good at festivals, and I think it's supposed to come out sometime this year. So yeah, he's got a lot going on there. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And then John Malkovich popping up in here totally caught me off guard. I don't know why. I don't know if we talked about that before or whatnot, but like. I always just picture him in those zany roles like Red and Warm Bodies and
I think he could be zany here. I think he could be.
Hopefully, he's got the hair that makes him look a little zany.
I don't know if I want hopefully, because my worry is he going to be like Ben Kingsley and Shang-Chi?
That's too much. That's too much Zane. I don't want that much Zane.
But Malkovich can do that if you want him to. He can get pretty zany. So that's what I don't
be that zany though.
Yeah, that's what I don't want.
And then I don't know if I ever say this right. Ebon or Eben. I'm gonna call him Eben.
Eben Moss I think it's Eben Moss Baccarin.
Yeah. I think, again, the only thing I've seen him in is The Bear, but I think he is fantastic. And right away when he was just doing his voice as the Thing, I was like, yeah, this is great. I love this. I think he's going to play a really, really good Grim, sorry, not Grime.
Grimes.
That's Rick Grimes, yeah.
Can't protect him, Rick.
Yeah.
That's Shane.
But
if you ever watch the Punisher show, he's in the first season. He's like a supporting character, Eben Moss Baccarin. So that'd be the second
might get into that because I think I'm 4 episodes deep into Daredevil season 3, so I'm probably gonna watch some Punisher and then
missing
some
that
Defenders.
Frank Castle,
Missing that Frank Castle, yeah. But in closing, I thought seeing Galactus was pretty exciting, and I'm not at all worried about his size. I'm pretty sure he can grow and shrink as much as he wants, and get as big as he needs to be.
Plus, like, I don't know. There's a few things with it where it's like I don't know how I feel about Galactus overall. I've never been a big fan of that character from the comics. I don't like a character that is literally an eater of worlds. I think it is too big. It's fine as a one-off. It's fine as, something big to fight here, which I'm sure they will. But it is something where I am kind of fine if he is somewhat smaller, because the images of him like literally holding Earth, it's like, well, what are you supposed to do against this guy? I know they find ways, but they're always very comic booky. They're always like almost the way you'd have to do it if you're doing like Lego Batman, in a sense where, oh, this works. You like the way the heroes and the villains, like the Gotham was breaking apart and they had to like click together. Like it's always very cheesy shit like that where it's like, in a live action, does this work, right? And I think Galactus, he'll get bigger, but I think being that size, sure. And I think with the Thing, Dalton says, I did think this thing was going to be bigger. I'm not sure if you mean in height or size. I think height is pretty, I think if you're going for what they're like Alex Ross, old school Thing, I'm pretty sure he's usually small, like in height, smaller than them, and he is completely ripped off like the old classic look. He's got the big unibrow. I love the look. I'm with Bubs. That is a good comparison. Those old the Ninja Turtle movies. It's a really good comparison. I think he looks really good. I think it's just that there's something a little bit off. The way Hulk and Incredible Hulk and Avengers and some other ones, but I'd say those two specifically. You had live action people, but then you had these CG characters and they looked like they were there. Thanos, for example. Of course, there's always a scene where, oh, that looks a little off, but that's my one thing is I think for the majority of this trailer, I love the design, I like the look, but he felt like he was a computer animated thing on a live action set. Now we do have till July, but my worry is if he does look like that the whole time, then
I'm confident that they're going to refine him a bit more.
I hope, but I felt like when we got the event, Endgame, Infinity, definitely not Endgame. When we got Infinity War trailers, I never felt like, oh, like something's off with Thanos. I felt like right away, oh, he's a real character, or like Gollum, same thing, like, oh, Gollum or Davy Jones, right? Like the Thing, I think, does have to look like that because he's the main character. It's different if unless he's dying in this movie and they're become the Fantastic Three, but like unless he's dying or it's a villain, you have to kind of have this character look lifelike. So I like the designs of all of them. I love the throwback, and for me with the trailer, I I liked it, but I guess what you're supposed to do is, does a teaser trailer get you more excited? And it didn't really. It got me intrigued. It got me in the sense of, and the thing that intrigued me the most was because the casting, I'm all fine with all the casting. I think everyone looks great. I think Vanessa Kirby's gonna just fucking kill it in this role. I think for me, I love the design and the world, and these rumblings we've heard that this doesn't take place in the MCU. This actually feels like this. Like, this feels like it's a different universe. It doesn't feel like, even though we've seen the 60s in like the first Avenger and a few other projects, it doesn't match our 616 Earth, and I love that. I've always said, like, I wish Marvel did like Marvel standalone Elseworlds what if movies, right? So this might be the closest we get to. Then there's some merging that happens, but aesthetically, I'll say that bumped me up a little bit more as far as being excited, but nothing that made me go, man, I can't wait to be like. Again, I'm not the biggest F4 fan. I'm a bigger fan of the casting than the actual team. But I wanted to ask you, because I think you're more higher on this. So if you could only pick one, because obviously they're 2 weeks apart, you would. It sounds like you would pick Fantastic Four over Superman to see.
Yes,
Really? Okay, that's interesting. What did you show Mass in this trailer?
I did.
What did she think?
She, in her defense, we were eating dinner and our daughter was taking all the rice out of her bowl and put it on the floor, and so Madison was scooping
Well,
it. So she was like,
why'd you
looking
teach her
down,
to do
looking
that?
up, looking down. I like to create messes and create work for Madison.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like in the olden days.
Yeah.
How it should be. When men led films. Just having fun. Just having fun.
I
So
think
she half
Vanessa
watched
Kirby
it.
is fantastic choice to lead.
Oh, look at that. It said, "Miss You, My Love" from Trash Smells. And I didn't even have hands on the keyboard. That's got to be Carl. I think it's Carl.
I'm
he would
keeping my
say,
hands up. I'm keeping
yeah,
my
but I don't
hands
see her
live.
cock. But anyway, so she half watched it. But when she was done watching it, did she seem like very interested in it?
When she, well, she said it looks better than the last one. That's her words.
Okay.
So,
So that's my thing. So I don't think this is a bad trailer, right? I think, and I never, Silly and Tress told you, didn't talk about the Superman one. I don't think the Superman one, like when it came out that day, I was not on the side of, oh, this is one of the greatest trailers of all time. Like, to me, you watch that first Batman trailer, that is one of the greatest trailers of all time. The first Force Awakens trailer, that's one. Where Superman, I thought, was really, really good. I had some issues visually, and there's some other stuff that's head scratching. But I think for me, and I showed Emily and said the same thing, and her like her defense in the same way you're defending Madison. She also said that it's hard for her to get excited for a movie because she just has to think about a sitter and all that time, so she doesn't really get too much excited. But she did agree with me when I asked her as far as like with general audience at big moments. Like, that's the thing with me. Like, what's the moment in this trailer for you, Taylor, that you think that general audience members like? Because I'm going from, there's 2 versions. I don't think there's 3 things that can happen, but the first one's not going to happen. They both bomb. That's not going to happen. The second one is they both do great, which could happen. But I'm saying, let's say we're in a world where, a genie comes down, or someone, during this cast pops up and says, hey, Taylor and Travis, one of the movies is going to like underwhelm big time box office wise. What do you think is... What do you think is the moment from this trailer that would be like, oh, this would grab general audiences that maybe are like, another superhero movie, another Fantastic Four movie? Because I have something with Superman, but I wanted to hear your pitch first.
well, I mean, the thing that's going to kind of like pull them in, that's different from the past, but it's still
Yes.
a superhero movie. So for me, I'm thinking, I mean, you got the casting. I think the casting is going to be the thing that's going to kind of hook them for point A. That's my initial point. And then what comes next is probably, I don't think it's going to be the fact that these characters are the Fantastic Four. I don't know if there's much sway there, but I think it's, the idea though that it's a new team, it just so happens to be Fantastic Four, but it's a new team, and I think people will get excited because we haven't had Avengers for a while. Well, we did have Guardians, but Guardians 3 did very, very well. So I think people get excited for these Marvel team-up movies, which is why I think...
So what happens if Thunderbolts eat shit, though?
Well, then
And that's
I will
characters
be
we know and
proven,
love.
I'll be proven wrong. But
And the Marvels, that lowest MC movie of all time. I think they like the right team
the
up.
Marvels, no, the Marvels.
That is a team up,
that's-
though.
That's a
That
team
is-
up, but like a
that's-
low-key team up.
Doesn't matter. Guardians is just all for one movie. Marvel should have advantages from 3 different things: WandaVision, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel made $1 billion. No Guardians film ever made $1 billion. So technically, they should have had a leg up and done better than Guardians 3, but they didn't.
Yeah, you do make a good point.
I think
I
just
don't know.
what I thought about here is I really like the aesthetic. I love the vibe of this. I thought for me, I loved all of that. It didn't get me more excited, so it got me a little bit more intrigued. But I was like, okay, I gotta see this. But I love the world they're setting up. I loved everything as far as the family dynamic. I did like Vanessa Kirby. It's okay. It's past my bedtime. Love you, bye, says trash smells. It's gotta be Carl. I'm telling you, Carl's the UK hours. I'm telling you, I got you, motherfucker. After all these years, I finally put together, just mind unlocked. Back to it. I watched the trailer. Like I said, liked it. The biggest thing was the aesthetic, like you said, the WandaVision style, right? But I was like, what is going to push people to see this in a world where superhero movies don't just automatically mean success? In a world where how many, like the past 3 years, how many big films have we talked about that we thought would be big and just bombed, right? And I'm not saying this is going to bomb, but also in Travis told you, I looked like the biggest Fantastic Four movie box office wise is $333 million. So it's not like these movies before are like huge hits. Even Superman, never been $1 billion, but Man of Steel's like 650, you know? So it's like there's some proof of like, hey, you can get even like sniff the billion mark. I think it's just that with that, and because it's been the talk of the town, right, with this and Superman, and it's going to be because they're coming out so close. With Superman, there's so much thing of like, I can see someone watch that trailer like Crypto, whether you're a kid or animal lover, like, oh, I love dogs. Whether it's the 2 moments with the kids where it's slow motion and Superman saves the kid, or my favorite moment of the trailer is when that kid puts up that flag and he's crying and he's like saying, Superman, Superman. Like he's like chanting, like wanting him to come there. That moment where Superman or Lois are like in the public and they're floating up kissing. I just think there's like romance, like there's a couple things. There's things for audiences, kids. There's things for dog lovers, people. Like I think there's more to it that like that's where I'm saying that I'm hoping they just are both great and both successful. But I'm saying that if I think people have to pick, I feel like based on just these 2 trailers, because there's going to be more trailers, and maybe we get a shitty Superman one, a great Fantastic Four one. I don't know other than, oh, that looks cool. That's what to me Fantastic Four was. Where, like I said, the vibe of it, the world of 60s, like high science fiction, like Jetsons sort of, not science fiction, like futuristic, but it's in the 60s kind of glom. I think it looks neat, but that's my thing is like, I just wonder if people, even in Clay Center Discord, like the second Galactus comes up, do people just check out and go, oh, like the third act's just going to be them fighting some big beam or some big monster, you know, like that's where, and who knows what will be the better movie. If I had to put my money on it, Superman because of James Gunn, but that's just what I got from this trailer. I was like, oh, like, I just feel like there wasn't anything that grabbed the people that aren't already seeing it, you know, where Superman, I feel like there's a few more things in there that go, okay, I'll get, you know, I want to see this. I want to see this. But Matthew Fletcher says, man, I'm actually so excited for this movie. It looks great so far, at least aesthetically. Absolutely. Been a while since I've been this hyped for an MCU release. Other than Deadpool and Wolverine, because I'm going to take that out. What was the last time you were very hyped for a movie, Taylor, in the MCU? And would this be like the tippy top? Like, let's go from Endgame. You had Shang-Chi, you had Eternals, you had Black Widow, you had Guardians 3, you had, what else did we have in there? You had the Marvels, we had, I'm trying to think of more movies we had. I feel like Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I'd probably say that was my last one, was Wakanda Forever, because not just because I was curious what they're going to do with Chadwick. I remember when we got that first Wakanda Forever trailer, that was like, whoa, like this looks like something like up top, like amazing. I think I still have my top 10 MCU. I think it was under the bar for what I wanted, but still enjoyed it. But what about you?
For me, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange,
All right.
Multiverse of Madness.
All
Those
right,
are those
fuck.
2.
Okay. You're completely right. I forgot the 2 biggest ones, like Multiverse for sure and No Way Home for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, and no, and don't again. There's tons of people I saw because now which I'm back on social media. I think it's just like Superman, or I feel like I'm more in the minority. I feel like people were uberly positive on this, but again, it's like it doesn't matter because that's social media, right? I feel like this looks like a very comic booky superhero Fantastic Four movie, so I feel like
Sorry, I like
man
sneezed.
goes to cough and punches his mic as he coughs. Thank God I'm back. Thank God I'm back. But no, I think it's just I think it's a very comic book happy, like friendly trailer. So I feel like that's why nerds and geeks are like, oh, this is the best. They finally nailed it. But like I'm just saying, what happens if this movie comes out, makes like a 400 million, and it's like, oh yeah, what went wrong? It's like, and we'll see. But yeah, let's take our first ad break, and then we're gonna do a little breakdown of the trailer. So we will be right back. And we are back. So you want to pull it up, and we'll do a frame by frame in case there's anything we missed. I don't hear anything, but that's okay.
Family dinner every week.
I like that. Love the 4x3 with the rounded edges here. Again, the aesthetic is where it is completely at here. Beautiful. You got Herbie here. How did you feel about this little bear reference here? I've seen some scuttlebutt about people not enjoying it, but I honestly didn't care one way or another.
The cooking, I loved it. I was like, oh man, like this is well done. It's pulling me right off of the bear, so I'm all about it.
Yeah, and what I liked about this too is what I hope. We always talk about this. One of my favorite scenes in the MCU is the Avengers 2 dinner party scene, and that's what I hope this movie will provide. Of like, hopefully the family, like the actors, have good chemistry, gel really well, and there is scenes of this of just them hanging out and chilling and bonding. You know, that's what I would very much enjoy. So I'm hoping this cooking scene is stuff we'll get multiple times in the movie. So
he really doesn't look that bad to me at all. Like.
He doesn't look like an anime, like that doesn't look like an animated movie to you. They look like they're in an animated movie. They don't look like they're live action at all. I don't think he looks bad. I think he just looks like if you were to say
live
it's
actiony enough, but I think it'll get better.
I hope. Like I said, I don't remember Thanos looking like that.
I got nothing to say on this scene.
Okay, well you paused there, so keep going. I did not do this. I like that spaceship. You go back there. We got to see a little bit of Taylor. It's not going back to Sue disappearing. That's okay.
Oh, you want me to go back to it?
Yeah, I just want to see some great acting going on here. But yeah, perfect frame. You can't even see her. That's perfect. But obviously, we're gonna get what do you think they do with the origin? Because obviously, I think at some point they've said, "Hey, this is an origin story," but clearly we see some of the origin here. Do you think it's like the opening movie and then we go to like the title card, whatnot? Do you think it's the first act? Do you think it's them telling the press about this? Is this a flashback? Like, how do you think they're doing the origin without trying to do like an origin movie? Because again, we're seeing it where like with Spider-Man Homecoming, they talked about him getting bit by a spider, but they didn't flash back to Tom Holland getting bit, right? We're clearly in this movie, we're going to get scenes of the incident that happens in space.
Oh, I think Marvel has done a long trajectory of not giving us origin stories. I think we've been having the last one I could think of would be what Captain
Shang-Chi?
Marvel.
No, Shang-Chi and the Turtles. Eternals is a weird one, but Shang-Chi for sure is an origin story. And like, if you're talking movies, also we got lots of Disney Plus stuff, right? Like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel,
and you got Black
She-Hulk.
Widow, but that's like retroactively.
Yeah, I don't
done,
count
so
that one. Yeah. So
I
they're a bit more
I
picky.
feel like this is just how they're gonna tackle this. Is it gonna be flashbacks? I don't think it's gonna be flashbacks. I don't know. Like this whole opening sequence of them doing this could be an easy 5 minutes. 10 minutes, like it could be just so quickly done, and then we get that time skip jumping into the future by a few years, right? Yeah, so
yeah, I think so too. Even though I wonder if the way they're always showing us where they're talking about it in bed, if them reminiscing about it, because I don't know. I wonder if they're just going to open it with them having their powers, because we get to it later on in the trailer. Where it seems like the Fantastic Four is clearly loved, right? Like they already have merchandise, kids are cheering for them. And that's where, again, I guess in the MCU, they could have been like, well, there was this team we didn't talk about. But I feel like the only real hero in that time period, like I guess it was later or earlier than the 60s. But I just felt like they made a big deal about Cap being like the first superhero, right?
This isn't that same universe, though, is it?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I think
Oh.
it confirms that, where it's just like we didn't have anybody else. Like to me, it was Cap, and there's other heroes silently, but Cap was the guy. So that's why to me, it's more confirmation of this is somewhere different. And I think that's why
Plus,
for
the technology too feels very different.
Yes, and that's where I think it's going to work for the general audience, people that don't know, because I think Galactus is going to show up, and everyone's going to think, oh, they're going to beat Galactus. It's fun, here we go. Here's the third act, and then Galactus is just going to like destroy their entire planet, and people are like, I don't understand, but then it's going to get like they'll get sucked into a different universe or something. Even though I've seen the other theory that people think it will be the reverse way, where the 616 will cease to exist and will follow this universe, because you could start anew in a sense, right? Because you could say X-Men have been here.
I hope not. I hope they stick with 616 because we just got Adamantium in there now with
Yeah, that's true.
Brave New World. I think your idea, where if Galactus comes in, just slaps like suplexes this universe, and then the Fantastic Four goes into 616. I'd love to see the ending of this movie, a post credits where they get sucked in, they pop out of the portal, and they're in 616, and like who greets them right there? It's Ant-Man, it's
Scar.
It's Scar. It's like Shang-Chi. Like he got like maybe they show up like, hey, we're the new Avengers team. We finally get to see like, oh, this is our current Avengers roster. Like, are you an existential threat or something like that? And then it's like, no, we're the Fantastic Four. And Doctor Strange shows up. I just think that would be super, super cool.
Or do they end up where Monica is right now with the we don't know what that universe is, but with Beast X-Men.
Just in Beast's room. Yeah.
Beast is the greeter at every end credit, like, hi, we got more. But all right, you can continue. Then just talking about the incident, about things you could do before. I'm really liking the invisible effects so far. That's what I'm saying. Really like classic thing here where we get him in the suit.
That transition there,
That's so
was
good.
well done.
That's
Very well
fantastic. And I suppose, right, I feel like it needs a bit more texture probably, but yeah, right there looks fantastic, and that's going to be great. Hopefully he doesn't have a wife that leaves him and his ring in the middle of the street, like in
runs
the
out
story.
wearing her sexy lingerie in the middle of a New York dark alley. God
Well, maybe
damn.
it's safer in the 60s, So, all right, continue. Let's see. And then you got Johnny doing his flame on business.
This
and that's,
score too is just absolutely killer with these scenes. Like it's just the score feels hopeful.
I like the score. Did you like the crescendo at the end where it's like Fantastic Four? Do you like that?
I didn't mind it, but it has to grow on me a bit more.
I agree. I'm right there with you. So yeah, he's flaming on the city. And that's where, yeah, to me, it definitely feels like, to me, this trailer was showing like, yeah, Sue is the main character, but she's going to be kind of the glue that keeps them all together. So, and there's Johnny going to be, someone of space head. We'll have to see if he gets to be a bit more arrogant. This is one of the best shots of the trailer. That's cool. But it's when I wish it was combined, but he goes up and later on they have him like stop in
Oh yeah.
yeah, but yeah, again, I'm liking the looks of her powers because it's a hard power, right? Like shields and telekinesis and everything, but I'm loving this like rainbow translucent effect. So obviously they show, and we got a cool shot coming up right here of Human Torch in the sky. Very cool. I've seen some speculation that people think he's chasing Silver Surfer and they've edited her out, but I don't know. I just feel like that'd be too similar to what we got in that Rise of Silver Surfer movie, right? Because he chases them, and so I hope it's not that. But
we didn't get crossed eyes here in the scene of.
Oh right, you were one of the people that had a problem with that Superman.
I
image,
didn't have
right?
a problem. I just thought it was funny.
People get way too worked up over this stuff. My goodness. World's Best Geek. Hey guys, excellent trailer. I'm happy to see Galactus looks like comic book look, and Sue's looking amazing. World's Best Geek, nice to see you. And yeah, another person there saying excellent trailer. So there you go. Yeah, hit play again, and then I love this shot too. It's the one where the Fantastic Four's on the balcony, and I don't know if it's Galactus or what is, but they're looking at the sky. It's dark, and all this stuff is just coming through. I'm pretty sure. Is that Ben Grimm in a suit right there?
Looks like he's got a tie on.
Yeah, I love when the things wearing that type of stuff. But yeah, great shot here. So again, I will say for MCU movies, if we're talking about this saga, you could make a case. I'd have to go back, but it could end up being the best looking one visually, because we lots of times have MCU issues where they rush production, visual effects, everything. And also I've had my things about the Thing, but there's been multiple shots in here. I'm like, I haven't seen anything like that in the MCU where like, hey, Deadpool and Wolverine, love that movie, but like that's not getting like best visuals in our Golden Geeks talk. Like that doesn't that isn't. When's the last time, other than Spider-Verse, when's the last time we had a Marvel film in best visuals? Like, I feel like it's been ages, if any, right?
Thor Ragnarok. The
Yeah,
cliff
maybe.
scene.
You're probably right. Where like we had, I'm pretty sure we had not the cliff scene. Yeah, and maybe we didn't, but like, but I'm pretty sure we had like Zack Snyder's Justice League. We had the Batman, right? Like, there's DC films we've had in there. We might have even had Birds of Prey, to be honest. So it's just like I cannot remember the last time. And that's just because like, and we had, like I said, the Spider-Verse movies, but those are on a different level. So it'd be nice to have a Marvel film that like looked really nice. I don't know what that means if they say that this movie's not in the MCU and it's like one of their better looking movies. Like, does that mean the 616 just looks like trash? Like, I don't know, but continue. I think we got a good shot here of Ben like running through the streets coming up, I think. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that car. Oh yeah, look at that car. I'm not a car guy, but the Fantastic Car's looking great. So we got that car going. This is great stuff too. Johnny flying through, and yeah, that shot right there of Thing running through with these suits. These suits, I never worried about them, and like now seeing them in action, they look great. Now,
Fantastic.
I do wonder, like, man, when they get the MCU, are they gonna get like the armory, like kind of very over textured sort of suits? I hope not. I hope they stick with these because they're looking great, but they probably will get an update. So there's John Malkovich. There's lots of theories who he's playing. I don't really know, so we'll see.
Yeah, Doctor Doom.
He ages down and then he turns into Robert Downey. And that's one thing in this trailer. Not as look at Galactus looking like Mr. Nosferatu over here. Not a single like I'd say like really big joke. There's like a humorous bit with him cooking, but it's like I like that. I just hope that the actual movie is like this, right? And the same when you brought up John Malkovich, how he can be like a kooky character. I hope he's not some just weirdo there for comedic relief. Like, I hope this is a bit more of a serious MCU movie. I would love that. I was happy Eternals was that. The problem was I just didn't like Eternals. But anyways, we hit play here and we get to see Galactus in all his glory.
Feels very much like a tin can look, but he's like crudely put together.
Yes. He's looking at that poor Statue of Liberty. She's been through a lot, as you pointed out. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Nanotech suits by Secret War. Lock it in. Oh God, I don't need that. As a family, and this shot right here, very cool. The whole family together. I was gonna ask you because people talked about this. This is the first thing I noticed as well. Why do you think we didn't see Reed's power? I have an answer, but why do you think we didn't see it? We got to see everyone's power, Thing doing his thing, being Rock, Human Torch flying, Invisible multiple times. Not a single stretch, not a single even mention of what Reed does.
I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. I think it's a teaser, so it's one of those things. I think they're just saving it for the big show, right? The actual main trailer that we get. I mean, there's no need to rush to it. Again, he's not.
Why
a
not
main
save the other
character in
ones,
the story?
Why not save like the Thing or the Human Torch? Why everyone but him?
I feel like you know the answer to this, so just spill it on me.
You know why? Because his powers are fucking lame. Because they show that off. I've said this before. We talk about the casting. Like, this is one of the things where it's comic booky. There's no way to make that not look goofy. There's no way to make a Pedro Pascal like stretch his arms out, his arms stretching and look like cool. I've been on this earth for 31 years, and I'm a comic book guy, so I bump into comic book fans all the time, talk about comic books. Even as a kid, you talk about, hey, who would you want to be? What power would you want? Who would you, if you could get one power, what would you wish for? Nobody is picking Reed Richards or the stretch power. And I think we will see it, but I think that's why they took it out, because one, it also could be a thing where it's like, maybe it doesn't look the best right now, like we're still working on it. But I think it's just generally not like a, oh, this is so cool. Like, I think almost would take you out, because I bet you they'd put something in the show and be like, oh, that looks weird. He looks kind of goofy, because it is a stupid, goofy power. Like, the thing about Reed that's great is him with the family and his brain, and then he happens to stretch. But, like, have you met anyone, Taylor, that wants to stretch as a power?
No.
No, and you never will. You never will. Even after this movie, same thing. I asked you. I guess you probably wouldn't want to be the Rock Monster, right? But take the Rock Monster, unless you put him above. If someone, again, the genie comes in and says, "Hey, you can have 3 powers. You could fly and turn into fire. You could go invisible and have telekinesis powers, or you could stretch." What are you gonna pick?
Oh, I'd rather Sue Storm's powers or Johnny's powers for sure.
What if you could have the Rock powers but turn back into human?
Oh, I would
Like
absolutely
Hulk.
take that for sure.
That's what I mean. Like that's the thing where it's a hard thing to market because I just think it's like it can be very kind of cheesy, and that's why I think it was not in here because it would have broken some of the vibe. But are you going back for specific reasons, trying to look at
I'm
something?
trying to prove your point even further by looking for a certain scene. I can't find us off the.
There's one scene where he is writing on a chalkboard, and Fanboy Clay from Geek Ultimate Alliance. Everyone check out Geek Ultimate Alliance. It's our spin-off network. Has 7 shows, a bunch of stuff that we cover, and different stuff we don't cover on there. Great hosts. But he and other people brought up where there's like read on a chalkboard, and it's a very wide chalkboard. So clearly he's probably like stretching his arm out and writing, but they didn't show that. So I'm not saying you're never going to see him stretch, but I also like that Thing shirt. I'm not going to lie. The mask, give me some of that stuff.
So this
go
to
ahead.
prove your point, like no one's wearing Reed Richards merch. They're wearing Thing merch over Reed
No.
Richards merch.
Not going to happen. World's Biggest Geek. Do you guys think that when Captain America movie comes out, they play the trailer during the movie if they may show his powers before the Captain America movie starts? I don't think so because I think they'll play this exact trailer. I guess there's always a chance. And I think that it's weird that it's happening so early. Like I think we're gonna get like a teaser at Super Bowl, but they're just gonna be like the trailer's online now. So there's always a chance we might get 30 seconds and get one different scene. But it's very odd that they're not following suit where it is. Oh, the teaser and then watch trailer online, then we go watch it. Like, it came out early. Same with Jurassic World. It's coming out early. That's why. Like it honestly, if like just Mission Impossible or something comes out, then who knows? We might not do the Super Bowl cast, but I think there's enough stuff we can talk about that will be there. But yeah, they'll play it in front of Cap, and unless there's a few new scenes, I don't think you'll see him stretch till the next trailer. I would laugh if you never saw him stretch, but I digress because it's just again, Miss Marvel, her powers that she stretches, and she doesn't stretch in the movies or shows, right? She has like her cosmic whatever the bangles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
No stretching to be seen. So,
That's right.
anything else on F4?
No, that's it.
All right, so let's talk about some X-Men here after this next ad break. And we're back. So this is some stuff that you guys have covered a little bit of, but it's kind of like a whole bunch of rumors together. So this is from the B tier. It's from Danny Rickman, and then there's S tier stuff. So let me get down to my notes here. So okay, so we kind of figured this, I think, because the rumors, but it's looking to cast the main people from 20s to 30s as far as the main members go. It's not set to be an origin story, so it's going to be something that picks up. They're already team, they're working together, and it's releasing after Secret Wars. Now, they didn't specify if it was like if it's like no dots coming after Secret Wars, or if it's like literally the year or so after Secret Wars, because there's been other scoopers that have put out that it is going to be like it could even be filming by the time Secret Wars is coming out. Like, there's been some people that have speculated that might be the first movie of like the new saga or whatever it is, like a way to kick it off big. Is like, hey, you have Secret Wars, and instead of last time, which was like, what was our first movie after Endgame? I guess it was Far From Home. I'm not going to count that because that was Spider-Man. What happened after? Oh, let's see. Because that was Phase 4, right?
I believe so.
Phase 4 MCU, the first movie.
Was it Thor? Love and Thunder? Or was that too late?
No, I don't think so. Let's see. First movie. It was Black Widow. So it ended with No Way Home in the first movie. So I think they might go, hey, we want to start off hot. We want to get people back in the door. People hopefully love Secret Wars. Boom, here's X-Men. So that's some of the rumors. Now, you guys have talked about some of the casting, which I will talk about, but here's some stuff as far as if these rumors are true. Now, these are more C-tier stuff, but so far we're looking at a roster of Jean Grey, Cyclops, Kitty Pryde, Gambit, and Storm. You guys have talked about the Storm and Jean kind of rumors. There's no other rumors for them right now. Hunter Schafer, who I'm not sure. I know you saw the Hunger Games movie. You never saw Euphoria, right?
No, not yet.
Yeah, okay. So she's rumored for Mystique. I don't really believe that rumor. I feel like it's a scooper because she's a very popular trans actress saying like, "Oh, she's going to play the character that is like, always switching different sexes and different things like that." Don't get me wrong. I would love that for two reasons. One, love Hunter Schafer. She's a fantastic actress. Can't wait to see her in the Blade Runner show. And then two, I think that is cool, like a cool concept. And then I guess three is I would love, because we've talked about this before, when is one of these big franchises going to put a trans actor somewhere in a big role and be like, actually we're doing this, and not just like, well, there's a side character we could actually edit out. But she's also talked about how she doesn't want to do roles that really just is about being trans. She wants to go further out, so that's why I don't believe it. But Tara, what do you think about the roster? What do you think about not being an origin story, of just picking up they're just being a team? So that probably has to do with like Secret Wars merging some universes, because if they were in the MCU 616, it'd feel very odd if there's no origin story. It's just like, hey, here's the X-Men. They've been around, and now here's the team. Like, something has to happen to make that happen. So how do you feel about just picking up with a team, and how do you feel about the roster so far? Obviously, there could be more, but if these are the people they're casting as Jean, Scott, Gambit, Kitty, and Storm, are you happy with that 5? Is that a good starting lineup?
I'm very happy with that starting lineup. I don't necessarily like the idea of it already being like, hey, we're a team already. Well, no, actually, I take that back, because I was thinking you need to have Adamantium and Wolverine already and yada, yada, yada. But you don't. Wolverine can, I mean, judging by this, he comes later after the Adamantium's discovered, everything like that. So the X-Men could be a team that's already formed. I remember how there was the whole Miss Marvel thing where it's like, oh, you're a mutant or whatever. It's just activated your mutant genes, and you get that da-da-da-da, like theme that played. So there's a few things that make me wonder if we're
Which
just
is kind of odd
where,
if she has nothing to do with the X-Men at all.
yeah,
like why'd they even do that?
But they were playing it just, I think, with the fact that okay, people are starting to develop their mutant genes now, so. Yeah, and if they're young, they're within that certain age bracket. I think it's just a thing where, okay, maybe back to that old thing where people snap back and they started to mutate, or they have mutant genes or
The
something
old
like
thing.
that.
It's like that's 2019, and we're like, you're still trying to rock that theory. Maybe the snap did something.
Yeah.
I really don't think that. I don't think any of this makes sense, because to me, it's like they're talking about adamantium, but it's like, so that means let's say there is no reboot or anything like that, no reset. So there's gonna be no Wolverine wouldn't exist the way he is, right? Like it'd be like it's supposed to be like, oh, he was born immune and he's been around for all these years, and then he gets adamantium. It's like he's just gonna get the adamantium in 2025. Like it's kind of odd, right? Like that's where I feel like
That's true.
I don't know what they're doing with Captain America. We're going to see it in a couple weeks, but I don't know what they're doing with that. So that's why I do think there will be a reset, and I think there's chances of like, I know it sucks for some people, but like if Captain America Brave New World's bomb, I could see them just being like, well, and here's Steve Rogers, and it's a new actor playing Steve Rogers. So I don't know about that. Let's see here. World's Biggest Geek says, I feel like with X-Men, the only one that's going to be hard to replace is Professor X, and Patrick Stewart has done a phenomenal job as his character, but I wonder who can replace him. I could agree with you, but it's tough at the same time, because like it did happen already once, and James McAvoy did a great job. Now, obviously you can say like, I prefer Stewart, but it's not like anybody can get replaced, right? Is Hugh Jackman fantastic, and I think it's the greatest comic casting of all time? Yes, but like I'm sure there's somebody out there that could play a great Wolverine, right? So if McAvoy came in and shit the bed, I go, oh, yeah, I don't know, it's Stewart, but like I think there's somebody out there that can be a great Professor X. So who knows? We'll have to see, but we haven't heard those rumors. Again, I'm still personally hoping that that Magneto would be on the hero side. I do really like the roster of these 5. Like Scott and Jean, to me, like I honestly, I know they're not the originals because they've been on so many iterations of the team. I feel like Scott, Jean, and Storm are just kind of essential to the X-Men now, like some people might say Wolverine as well, and I could agree with that, but I still think I'm on board with not having Wolverine for a while. I think those 3 are essential. Kitty Pryde is a character that's not gotten enough love. Obviously they were in the previous films, but only when Elliot Page played them. Like there was some shine on that character, right? And then Gambit. To me, Gambit's what gets me very excited because Gambit has also been like underrepresented, underrepresented. No, I'm fucking that word up big time. He's not been around as much as I would have liked. You know, he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, and that was fine. You know, like I think Taylor Kitsch did all right with it. And then Deadpool Wolverine, obviously Channing Tatum stole the show, right? Was fantastic. Created, you know, one of the biggest memes last year. Oh, we got it somewhere, don't we? I don't, what the hell? Why do we got Caddy Mundy in these? We got so much stuff in here that's so random. But like,
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
great moment, great scene, great characters. But I don't want that going forward for Gambit, right? I think the 10 pull or the template is obviously X-Men 97, which we've heard like a lot of the vibes from that series going to carry over live action. But look at episode 5, the new series for X-Men, and what they did with Gambit there. That's the template. Gambit to me is, I think he's my, I don't count Magneto on the X-Men all the time. He'd be my favorite X-Men probably right after Wolverine. So I think having Gambit there is tons of fun. And then what I don't know where Magneto fits into it. And the Hunter Schafer as Mystique thing, that could just be a ploy to, you know, just get clicks. But if it was true, I would love it if we had like a team of those 5 Mystique, because Hunter Schafer's in that 20 to 30 age group. And if we had Magneto, and the other thing is like it's curious of they don't have Rogue in this lineup so far. Maybe she's coming, but I would love it the same way they do in the comic books. And Taylor, you saw a bit of this in the animated series. I would love it if Rogue started on the villainous side, and that's how we get her on the team. Is we start with Gambit, but they fight like. And remember, she has a connection to Mystique, right? So the fact if Mystique is being cast for this movie and Rogue is not on the team, to me that lends theory that I would love to see Rogue on the bad person side and then kind of see that transition over. Because I think we've heard obviously the rumors of Mr. Sinister, but you can add more stuff there. Even God, am I remembering it wrong? Didn't Rogue end up helping Mr. Sinister at one point in the animated series because he did something or kidnapped something? I can't remember. I felt like there was something there. Maybe it was
I just
Gene.
remember him or Magneto and her having a thing.
Well, of course you remember that, but yeah. So no, I really like the roster. I like that it's no origin. We'll just start with a team. Just go Xavier, maybe Magneto. We'll see. Like I said, I'm hoping Magneto's on the team, but I could also see them not doing Magneto for a while. And then yeah, some of the casting. I'm so far. There's been the Cyclops casting today. The rumors have been you only know 2 people out of the 3. So let me get their name. There's Brendan Thwaites, who he was Robin / Nightwing on Titans, and he was also in that last Pirates movie. He's Will Turner's son.
Oh, I gotcha.
So he's someone in the running. There's Jack Champion. Do you remember who Jack Champion is?
Let's take a look.
Let's see if you look off the picture and remember who he is.
He was an Avatar?
Yeah, he was the great character Spider. Yeah, he was Spider.
Wow.
So that's a rumor. And then this guy you've not seen. I just saw Baby Girl last week. Finally, I'll talk about that in the next time we do what we've been watching. But Harris Dickinson, I think it's Harris Dickinson. I just thought of the fucking Christopher Walken skin SNL because I think his name is the great Bruce Dickinson. That's what it is. But Harris Dickinson, that's my pick. I love that rumor.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him in a few things.
Harris
Kingsman,
Dickinson? Okay.
where the Crawdads sing, Maleficent 2.
Yeah, so he's someone that's in like the short list in the C tiers. He's my favorite so far. I would very much like that, so I'm hoping that happens. And then for the other ones that I had missed, I think Sadie Sink is great as Jean. The Ayo Barry one, I was surprised you and Dylan were very positive. Obviously, you guys some Bear fans, that's fine. But I don't really like that casting at all. I don't see that at all. Now, granted, she's a great actress. She does have some serious parts in The Bear, so maybe she can do it. I just think that I'm not trying to be mean. I think Storm has to have a certain aura about her as far as just like almost like a goddess, like bigger, larger than life. And I don't know if Ao has that, in my opinion. That's the thing where I don't see it. And it is tough because like The one I want is Jodie Turner-Smith, the girl that she was in Acolyte as one of the mothers. I've been watching her in The Agency, but the problem is if you're going this cast 20s to 30s, you do have to go someone younger, so it's gonna be tough. You got to find a very powerful actress. So again, these are just rumors. We're gonna go through a bunch of names in the next couple of years, but as far as the roster, really like that. And even if it's just at 5 and Professor X, like that to me is a really fun roster, and I can't wait to see who they'd get as Gambit. Please get Austin Butler. I know they probably won't. They'll get someone smaller, but we will see. So let's see. What do we got next here? All right, so we got some Alien and Resident Evil news. Resident Evil Taylor is getting a new film being directed by one of your favorites.
Barbarian.
Yeah, do you remember his name, though?
No, I do not. And me and Maddie were talking about him earlier, actually. Shout outs to Maddie. Maddie was pitching me to take Madison on date night to see Companion. Said it was a comedy thriller kind of.
Just like a 20-minute assault scene. He's like, yeah, you'll love it. Great Valentine's Day movie. My lady loved it. Yeah, I'm excited to see Companion at some point. I won't get to the theaters to see it, but yeah, I do want to see that. Sophie Thatcher is very good, and Jack Quaid also is good too. But yeah,
Zach Krager.
Zach Krager, yeah, he did Barbarian. Weapons is, I think, coming out this year and supposedly has lots of buzz going around right now. That's his next movie. So all they've said is this is supposed to go back to the vibes and feelings of the original games, trying to keep them with that horror. Now, I didn't see the Raccoon City one. What was that like? Like, was that trying to be more horror, or what was that? Because I never got around.
Definitely trying to be more horror, and I found, wow, now I haven't played. I've played some of the Resident Evil games, but I really don't have much of a comparison there. I think that's why I can really enjoy the Mila Jovovich ones, because I don't have that comparison, that baseline of just that love for the original games. When I see this and watched Raccoon City, I thought, okay, this one is definitely like doing shot for shot moments in the game, but in the movie. Like they were just making like live actioning it out the wazoo. They wanted to really tribute this and make this like fans are gonna love this. It was a bit over the top and way too on the nose, though. Even for someone like me that knew, like, I haven't played the games, but I know that, okay, this is definitely a moment for the game. That being said, it's a lot more horror based, and it was very, very creepy and eerie at times. I liked the vibe. It felt remote, isolated, hopeless, and I really, really appreciate that what they did with that. But the acting was terrible, and just the kind of the story, it just was not a home run for me by any means. So I'm wondering what they're going to do this time around to, keep it true to the games and just make it different from that Welcome to Raccoon City one. Because I feel like, okay, Raccoon City, they really tried that already. So what's different this time around? More scarier, more hopeless? Like they need to instill something in the viewer to make it different than what Welcome to Raccoon City did.
But I was gonna say, so like to me, it sounds like it was being more horror based, but it wasn't executed like you never.
Correct.
So
yeah.
that's what I think the difference is, right? Like it sounds bad. I'm not trying to dog on who directed it. It could have been a bunch of stuff, could not worked, but maybe that's the idea. Is we want to take it back to horror, but actually have it be more on the scare route, because it is tough because Resident Evil now has so many different versions, right? Because I played 1 to 4, and I don't think I ever played 6 to. I never played 5 or 6. I don't think. If I did, it was like at a friend's house. Obviously, I played 7. Biohazard really. But you look at it, it's like starts as like a creepy mansion game, and then you get from like, like moving around, killing zombies, and then it gets to like hordes, right? Of just like big zombies, monsters, almost like Gears of War. And then Biohazard happens, and that's like a creepy family. And then 8 happens, and that's like a vampire sort of esque sort of deal. So it's tough, but I am curious what they do here. What do you got the shitty grin for? Yeah.
So the director, what if I told you he also directed Strangers Pray at Night?
For the Raccoon City?
Yeah.
That would be completely track to me, because like that's exactly
go.
what Strangers Pray at Night is. It's like a not scary movie with the strangers. So yeah, like again, no, is that the only 2 credits he has? Has he done
47 meters down, and the second one as well.
I haven't watched those, but I've heard people say those are good. So that must be how he's getting gigs, is those, at least that first one, I think people were surprised how good it was. So let's see here. So it's interesting where and even the movies and the online stuff's a mixed bag, right? Like Raccoon City, like you said, try to be more horror based. Sounds like it didn't work out. The Resident Evil movies with Mila got very much in the bigger, grander world, big zombies, big like monsters, right? And then you had the TV show, which was very like, um, um, I just thought about fucking did a full 180. Do we still? I don't know if we still have her picture around here somewhere, but like, I that was more what's the best way you could describe it as far as like I'm trying I can't think of the word with COVID like how would you describe that type of movie? You know, there's that movie like Contagion, like it's like it was that type of series where it wasn't about the you got to see a few monsters, but it was way more about the threat of the disease and the virus and things like that. It was a very much more of a health scare type of movie
Because it was like
show.
it was too. You had like a pre and a post story
Yes.
at the same time, and then finally it got to the very end where it was like in the zombie world for like 30 minutes or something like that. Like
And
it
it was
really,
canceled.
and then it was canceled.
It was
Yeah, you
canceled,
got a
yeah.
dance scene, and that's it.
You gotta did a full 180. So I do think that there's not been. I'm not gonna say this is its last shot because Taylor showed me and like he was right. I was dogging on it, but like those Milan movies did make money and they usually had good budgets. So
It's
I just
overseas. That's where they
yes,
stride.
yeah. So I just think this is like kind of the last shot to make it like something special. You know, like something like really noteworthy, like a bigger franchise like, to get on another level. And I think this is a perfect franchise for Zach Greger because it is bigger. There's some more action, but it's still in his wheelhouse. And to me, it's just one of those like the same way. I don't know if you guys ever talked about what's going. I don't think so, but they announced that Lee Cronin, the guy that did the Evil Dead Rise movie, he's making a Mummy remake. You saw that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, man, that's a perfect fit right there. Like the guy that Evil Dead Rise doing a Mummy movie, awesome. Same thing as this, like Zach Krager doing Resident Evil. It's like awesome. I've just only seen Barbarian. I haven't even seen his other weapons movie or if there's anything else he's directing. So it's like this is like a match made in heaven. So I just hope it works out. So a match made not in heaven is this is what I don't even know if you saw. I did put in the notes, but I don't even saw if you when it broke. But so Daniel RPK, he had put out this scoop, and I'll read it verbatim here. That let's see here, a new Alien project is rumored to be rumored to be in the work, considering a Sigourney Weaver Ripley return using de-age technology. Now he said there's no connection to Fede Alvarez Romulus, so. This is what was funny. So he puts out this rumor, and then Fetty puts out like, "Oh, it's all like it's a fun read up, but nothing's true about it." So I know a lot of people might go like, "Oh, why are you covering this?" Because like he shot this down. For me, it was like the reports that had nothing to do with Fetty, and that's where it's like Fetty might say like, "Yeah, like I know what's going on. That's not happening." But I just am curious because there's this and RPK is not right about everything, right? But he's had a good couple of years. Like I said, I moved him up a tier, so it's worth talking about. Like, what if he's right? And remember, I think it was right before I left the newscast. It was in that month where there was that rumor that came. It wasn't a rumor; it was an article. They confirmed it that Ridley Scott was like producing something with Alien, and it wasn't attached to like Fetty's stuff. And I just wonder. So like, and this is just me making it up on the spot. But like, would you be hyped if, let's say, in a couple weeks from now, Disney confirms Ridley Scott's either producing or directing a new Alien movie, and they're using a DH Sigourney Weaver to star in it or be in it? Like, how would that? Like, where would you be right now with that type of an announcement?
Oh, I don't have much of a problem with the de-aging thing. I think as other people do, because I think you're still getting the actresses acting talents still behind that character. So there's that. The de-aging is just
Luke
using
Mando
special
too, though.
effects.
If it looks like shit, though, it's tough to look past.
Yes, but then you hire someone who can do the scene better on YouTube, and then you give them a gig, and then you get a Luke Boba Fett scene where it's like, man, Luke's looking pretty good here.
Yeah.
So I think it's Disney paved the way. They really did by doing, Moff Tarkin, and then Luke, and just getting in there with it. And they tried with Harrison Ford, and I think in Dial of Destiny, like it worked because it was a darker scene. If that was a broad daylight scene, it would have been questionable.
Have you ever rewatched that movie?
No, I haven't.
I watched it while I was off because after I played the game, which I'll talk about on SideQuest, I was just in the indie mood, and I kind of forgot that Disney Plus had none of the other Indiana Jones movies because they don't own those movies. They just own the character. It's Paramount that has the actual movies because they distributed them, so they don't have those. So one, I've decided, okay, I'm gonna actually buy the Indiana Jones on 4K here soon. But that scene looks a lot worse at home than it does in the theaters, and a couple of those other visuals too. So I feel like on the big screen it played really well. At home, it was more like, oh, this is a bit more noticeable. Of course, because my TV, like, I got a good TV, but it's not like the way like a film projector would be, big screen stuff. But I will say that, like, I think it still looked good enough, and yeah, it's shadowy, but definitely on a rewatch is like, eh. And obviously, it wasn't de aging because the actor was dead. But remember, that was a huge critique for people on Romulus was that actor they had
Oh,
de
yeah.
aged or CGI'd, right? So it's not like Alien is hasn't strayed away from doing some controversial CGI looking people.
But then we know that they fixed that for the DVD release, right? Or at least they tried to fix
I'm
it.
with S. Bubs. It looks worse. Like he said in the Discord, and I saw it side by side. I'm like, yeah, does it? I guess it depends. I haven't watched Romulus since. I've been wanting to. I haven't had time. Like I keep forgetting, but I want to rewatch Romulus at least before Golden Geek. So, but even then, like, so the de aging. But would you still just be excited by like another Ripley story?
I would be. I got really excited at the idea that hey, we're gonna get a Alien 5 that's gonna be Neil Blomkamp. It's gonna be the true Alien successor here with Hicks and with Ripley and continuing that story, and then that was axed. So I'm curious to see where this story fits in. If it's something in between one of the films, whatnot, I don't know, but I'm totally okay with them doing something like that where hey, Aliens 3 and Resurrection are just gonna be put to the side. That's one narrative, or you can just chime into this other narrative that we got here, because the Alien movies, I feel like while they're trying to keep a cohesive kind of storyline going forwards, I feel like they are still here or there just kind of like all different nitpicks from the overall story, like anthology stories. And I feel like when you go and look and invest your time into the Alien franchise and you go into the Alien books and everything like that, the comic books, they're all anthology stories. I don't think there's any true cohesive plot aside from just stemming off of that original Alien movie with Sigourney Weaver. So I'd be curious to know what story they pick, what they're doing, and how, or like they'd have to have a good reason and a good story to make up for the fact as to why you're bringing Ripley into it.
Dalton says, please no, maybe if it's just for a few scenes. Yeah, I guess for me it's tough because the only way I'd really want Sigourney, other than, yeah, let's say they did Romulus or something, right? Because isn't there that theory where you see like Ripley's ship like shootout or something like that, right?
Yeah, because it was docked in the
Yeah.
station. Yeah.
So I'm fine if in some movie at some point they want to do a scene or two like they did of Ian Holm in Romulus. I didn't hate that, but I completely understand why there's a group of people that do hate that, right? Which we have a question from Dalton after, like with AI and everything. Like it kind of goes in that uncanny valley of like, what's your line, right? But for me, it was fine. I'd be fine with that. If it's a whole movie, I think it could be. It can be distracting because this is something that comes from Love Martin Scorsese. I actually love The Irishman, but there's times where when Robert Downey, fuck, he's on that movie. Robert De Niro, when he's a 67-year-old man playing a 30-year-old, it does not compute because he's not moving like a 30-year-old. He's moving like a 60-year-old, and it's that's where it's like it messes you up. So I've seen it done before, exactly like that, where okay, actor that's a senior is going to be playing their young selves. Let's see. And I think that if it's a success, you're in the danger of just companies doing that all the time. I think, as it says, we finally get that payoff to the original concept of the Predator post-credit scene. Oh, what was that? To the original concept of the. So are you talking? Because the post-credit scene I remember was like.
There were multiple. There was a post-credit scene where the Predator armor comes
yeah,
out,
Boy Holbrook
right?
gets it, and he's like, "Yeah, let's fucking do this." Like he's all badass. Right?
Yeah. So there was talks that I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to come out of there. There were talks
Right,
that Sigourney Weaver was going to come out of there. I think
Okay.
there were even talks that Newt was going to come out of there.
Okay, so again, that's the thing where I actually do think, because he did Terminator, we've not done Arnold back on Predator yet. I think Arnold doesn't need to come back, and don't get me wrong, I think there is something very fun if you're doing like a Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sigourney Weaver in a Predator Alien thing. There could be some potential there. But for me, I am with Taylor where the only story I'm kind of was wanting was the Neil Blomkamp. We're gonna ignore Alien 3. Excuse me, we're gonna ignore Alien 3 and just go on from there. To me, if they were to say, "Hey, we're gonna do that story of," you can't do it right because it was right after. But still, like I would be fine if they said, "Hey, we're gonna jump some years later," and like even if like Newt's grown up now, and you have God, who's the guy there?
Hicks.
Hicks, yeah, Michael Biehn. Like you have him, like it's them older, and for some reason they get pulled back into the alien xenomorph madness. I'm fine with a Sigourney Weaver, Aliens 3, Redux, new continuity. Here we go. A story of, let's say it's like if it is Alien 3 Redux, but it's her all de-age and everything. It does feel like a little cheap, and I feel like there is lots of room for error. But even then, so Esmo says, yeah, I think it was one of the options was going to be escape the pods from aliens, but they didn't cast Ripley, but it was going to be implied. Oh, that's interesting. But that's the thing, like Taylor, like if she were just to show up, like I don't know. For me, it's like if you don't do a new continuity, there's nothing to do with Ripley. She died. She was cloned. Like, what would you even do with that character? Like, it would just be another clone.
I don't know about another clone, but like,
She couldn't survive. She fucking dove off that thing. She's melted.
yeah, like it can't be in that storyline. It has to be something else in between.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, maybe we get something that's alien isolation oriented, where you have Amanda, and it may be Amanda, because we know that there's a second game in the works, and we know that that
Right.
storyline had a lot of inspiration in Romulus, or I would say a lot of inspiration, but they took things from the game and put it into the movie that you could visually see, like the save points, the telephones. So there's lots of little things that were inspired, I'll say. So I think, okay, maybe, and we know Amanda is a real character, Amanda Ripley, because she's there in the director's cut of Aliens. You actually, I think you see a picture of her as an elderly woman, and
Yeah.
they talk about her with Ripley. So I think that there is a possible chance that maybe you could get a movie that's focusing on Amanda Ripley, and you get young Sigourney Weaver in there. Maybe it's like flashbacks, maybe it's something like that connected to the character, or maybe it's like, I don't know, something in there with young Ellen Ripley. But I think that that would be a much better approach to it, because then you could have it in that same time period as Romulus, around, like, again, not a Romulus sequel, but in that same line of events. So
So Mike is right. Well, Weaver just played a 14-year-old in Avatar 2.
damn,
Playing 30s
there you
version of herself
go.
should be a step up. It is, but at the same time, she's like her whole body is Navi, right? And you're moving in a different way. There's many times where the Navi is just CGI. Like when Sigourney Weaver's doing the action scenes in there, it's a blue CGI alien, right? Where when Robert De Niro's running after a criminal, that's him. So I guess you could do that, but then you're CGIing like human skin and everything. It's tough. So yeah, we'll see. I'm very curious if this is real. A few other things. Let's see. So Taylor, give us your thoughts. Well, let's do. I'm gonna get your thoughts on Final Destination, and I'm gonna get your thoughts on Jurassic World before we transition to our other cast here, and then also on Dalton's question here, because the Jurassic World trailer, by the time you listen to this, will be out, but we would not have seen it. We've given lots of details, but let me go with. Let me just find the comment here. Holy shit! I have the itchiest back in the world right now. I can't wait to throw it to you.
Nice.
Dalton Toller says, as AI is a big topic in the movie world right now, with most people being against it for various reasons, do you see any positive that AI can bring to the movie making experience, or is it all bad? Taylor, start with that.
I think that AI is not all bad. I think that there are definitely places for it, but we need to be careful with it. I'm not saying like, oh, AI is going to take over the world and kill people and yeah, Terminator,
It's gonna.
Skynet. I am implying the fact that I think we live in a world where we are still struggling to keep up with technology, and I think that technology has now rapidly outpaced humans in terms of work in the employment line, and there's a lot of jobs out there that people are easily going to get replaced for, and there's a lot of employers that will jump on this opportunity to use technology to reduce costs, cut costs, and get physical labor out of the way, because physical labor is not cheap, it's expensive, and workers comp, tons of stuff paid stats, whatever. Lots of problems for an employer. And we don't live in an age where most employers really care about their employees. I think that, you have smaller like businesses and stuff like that, and there are more family community oriented companies out there for sure, but I think there's a lot of more mainline companies that just they don't give a shit about you. You're just an employee to them. So they're going to easily just scrap you to the side and get AI in there to start handling all of these tedious workloads. My point is, I think that we've got AI that's just bloomed out of proportion here, and it's just taken the world by storm, and we don't have the proper precautions and barriers set up to protect people from this, because it's just popped up so fast and so unprecedented. It's crazy what you can do. Like with my phone, at least I don't know if you can do it with the older models, but the iPhone 16, I can take a photo of something, and in that photo, ChatGPT will actually like scan it and tell me everything that's in the photo and dissect it. I can take a photo of a bee
Your
and be like, what
penis
type
again.
of
Stop it.
yeah, that's it. But I can take a photo of a bee and be like, what kind of bee is this? And ChatGPT like, oh, this bee is so and so from this region, yada yada yada. It's crazy. So there are places where this can come in handy using AI, but when it comes to stuff like film, I'm biased because I think that practical effects should still be used greatly in movies. And so when you have AI to refine like scenery and stuff, like in The Brutalist when they used it to work on the backgrounds, I think a little bit, I'm not a big fan of that. I think that, again, AI needs to be kind of kept in check. There's a lot of people that I know that being a graphic designer and seeing AI just generate logos, and then having a lot of people to work on excelling their skills at being illustrators and artists, and then AI just comes in and just like 30 seconds whips something up. It's like, hot damn, like it's just gonna put these poor people out of business. These people have spent years mastering this craft and they're very talented. So that's where I am. I'm kind of biased on it. There's give and take with it, and we just need to find that balance.
It's awful. Get rid of it all. No, like it's tough. I think for me, where I am with AI, I like it for the things you talked about with like taking a picture being what is this. Like I like certain quality of life things, but it's something of like it happens and it helps, and you go, oh, that's cool, but not to the extent of. And I know because I can't remember where. I think you guys talked about a bit on After 9, but I know Clay and Dylan with the Brutalist thing had more of a issue with like the drawings and landscapes and not so much with the voice tuning, right? And that's where it's tricky for me, because I had more issue with the voices, because, and this is where for them not as much, right? Because even Clay's like, oh, I don't care about the Oscars, but someone like myself who I kind of care, it depends the year, but like it's not, I don't care about it as much, but still I'm interested in. And to me, if I'm looking as far as a voting process, right? And if you have an actor, you have 5 categories, right? But let's say it's down to 2 actors and both of them are doing voices, and one's voice is, their natural voice doing a accent, and one is doing an accent as well as they can, but then there's some touch-ups, and that leans people to go, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll give them my vote. And that's where to me, it's the worry of the snowball. I think there's certain things, and even like, I think Dylan said this on After Night. It's like technically there's stuff like, if there's been versions of AI all throughout our past 20 years, but we don't call them AI. Even like myself, when I upload casts, when we got lots of different mics, like it's different with us, but with the gimmick, I'll use that for example, right? Me, Espos, and David are all using different mics. It's different for us because me and Kirk are all using Sures, and then Dylan's getting a Shure. So we usually, even if it's audio levels, we sound pretty similar, but I use something on Final Cut Pro. It's like surround compressor. And I just do that, and it right away does all the checks and balances. So technically, you should say, well, Travis, you should be doing that, and like going each and editing everything like that. But I don't got the time for that. But I also know like this is not like that's the difference, where with Kirkland's ADR and Adrenochrome, I sat there for days tinkering with that. I didn't want, and I'm sure there's some programs out there, and maybe that's somewhere again that someone could use that against me as far as, hey, you use that. That's AI. There's some issues there. And that's where I go, I think I'm fine if it's going to happen. It doesn't matter. Like the Academy Awards already nominated people. If The Brutalist wins, that's the stamp of approval. My worry is, oh, like Adrian Brody had some things changed to his voice. What happens if it's like, and they're like, oh, it's a few lines. But then what happens if a movie comes by and it's like, well, it's a few more scenes, and then it's a section, and that's a whole movie. Like you saw Napoleon, right? Eventually, right, with Joaquin Phoenix. That man has no British accent whatsoever, right? It's just him being himself. Well, now, what happens? Take that movie, and they go, oh, Walking say I can't do that type of accent. And they go, well, you know what? You're just going to speak regular, but at the end of the movie, we're going to throw a filter on there, and the entire movie, you're going to be British. Or what is he? He's French. Actually, sorry. He's French. I screwed that up. He's French, right? And that's what I worry as far as if people give the hand wave of like, oh, that's fine. And that's fine. Eventually, people just take, and then it'll just become the norm. And that's kind of what happened with CGI, right? And that's tough because there lots of time that still employs people, right? But that you could even have that argument of I could be wrong, but let's say to bring aliens back in, I think it's let's just go aliens is the first time the queen xenomorph appears, right?
Yeah.
I could be wrong, so I might be speaking my ass there, but I bet it took more people to practically make that than it would for someone to animate that, right? It might make, I'm not even talking about the time, I'm just saying you could probably find someone in the world that is the best CGI person. They go, I can make the queen xenomorph. And then technically that put all those practical people out of work, right? So we've been here before in a different way. This is just like a complete computer now doing it. So I think it's something that unfortunately we have to accept. I think it is going to be something that's going to get abused. I think there's levels of, and even to myself, I'm like, I think then if you use it in a film, that should definitely be, you should say that. And maybe there's some situations like the Oscars or other awards where maybe that takes you out of contention. But then it's tough if something's so great, like where do you draw the line? And that's tough with a lot of things, right? I'm not going to draw the line of not watching something if I'm interested in it, because if I were to do that with everything, I wouldn't be watching almost anything. I wouldn't be watching this phone because I'm sure the people that made this phone weren't just like, working for good hours and good labor. Like that's the thing. Like there's so much stuff that we use in our daily life that it's tough where, and I want to do an after or a bread and butter about this of like where you draw the line on certain things or how do you do it? Because at some point there's just too much of it. So that's where I think we unfortunately have to accept it. I think I just don't want it to get abused and it just be replaced. Like I will never, here's the difference. I will never like, hey, I made this Batman film completely AI. I'm not watching that. If it's one of those things, not for me. Like I've seen some of those, and don't get me wrong, every year those things get more and more impressive. The photos, the videos, and that's what. Have you seen it going around? Maybe you should search on. Actually, I might. I don't want to pull it up because I actually could get us pulled off there or something like that. Have you seen the Evil Dead opening recreated with AI?
No.
Or not the opening. So it's like, whenever it happens in the Evil Dead, when it's like the spirits or whatever, and it's like their point of view and they're going through the woods and they go to the cabin, someone recreated that with AI. And that's where for me, it's like, okay. And even with scoring films, appreciating them, that's where people showed the comparison of like, look at what these four guys did in the 80s. One guy has a board strapped to him. The camera's there. I'm always going to respect that. And I'm always going to give that higher grades. You can use AI, of course. It might make it better or it might make it easier, might make it faster. But if I know someone did it practical and worked harder, especially because that's what we do right now. And that's because like shoestring budget, we're independent filmmakers, but it's like, I'm always going to lean to the harder work. Even if it doesn't look as crisp, there's more blood, sweat, and tears poured in that than just a simple click of a button, which again, everyone's kind of guilty of it, right? So it's a tough situation, and we'll have to see how it goes going forward. But that's my worry of The Brutalist having a few AI things, even if they're minor, and then it wins Best Picture. I feel like it's kind of all bets are off at that point. I feel like it is the start of a ball, and then soon I'm sure some big film's going to use it, like $1 billion, like other films already do. I'm sure, a Secret Wars, something's going to use it, and then boom. And like I said, it can be a tool. You can use it, but I get there why there's a certain ick around it, and I have a certain ick around it too. And I think it just comes to different parts of it. So Let's see. My Apple mic ruining the show. Shaking my head. I don't think it's ruining the show, I suppose. I always edit the. I think it's just because you, me, and David are different audio, and I always fix it in post. Live, I try. I'm always tinkering with it. It's just tough because we all have different mics. But we'll get you a better mic down the line there. And Dalton says I definitely thought about it on the CGI practical effects level. Yeah, and it's a tough situation. So, Taylor, you can end this portion of the episode with. Did you find that Evil Dead thing? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
He didn't even look. He didn't care. He's like, whatever Travis talking about, I'm going to go back to my porn. What do you think about the Final Destination trailer? And then what do you think about Jurassic World? Because we don't have the trailer, but they gave us some images and lots of details of what's happening in this movie.
So, yeah, Final Destination. I don't even know if I've seen all of them. I just remember being traumatized as a kid. This is a movie franchise that's still to this day when I enter certain scenarios in life. These movies, yeah, log truck, escalator, tanning booth, not necessarily, but it just pops in my head when I see it.
Because you don't tan, you don't go. To
I don't
tanning
tan,
booths.
but whenever I see a tanning booth, it just pops in my mind. But escalator especially, yeah, there's just a few things. And it's I remember there was a train with a chain on it and like cut a guy's head off or something like that. It might be the first one. Anyways, I digress. The movies definitely have a certain place in my heart for, not in like a good way, but just it's a traumatizing thing. And so I thought, oh man, like this new trailer, let's watch it, let's see what happens. And yeah, it was exactly how I expected it was gonna go. Because it's just this whole thing is this master plan, and it's almost borderline supernatural with how things are mapped out and planned. But it's at the same time it's not, because the guy is kind of like he's playing his music and the speakers are making things fall over, and that leads to like something else lighting on fire, and it's just so tactically planned that like it's crazy. But that's Final Destination. And so his death was pretty brutal, but it was it was just enough to kind of entice you, because I'm wondering, okay, what's the story going to be? What is their focus here? I always feel like, okay, they think they cheat death, but they never really do. Or like you go through the whole movie and at the end it turns out like, oh well, no, it hasn't even started yet. It's like, oh, we're all going to get off the ride or something like that. Like they really like to derail, deflect what your expectations are in these movies. So
Yeah, I think I've only seen one, and then Espo says I think viewer non said that nothing shown in the trailer is actually a spoiler. So there you go. I don't know if I'll see this. I know Tony Todd's in the mall, so it'll be great to see one of Tony Todd's last things. But I just I don't care. I'm not. I don't say don't care. So maybe I should give them a chance. I'm not a fan of the antagonist being just like something like that, like bad luck, like you can't kill it, you can't stop it. I know, I'm sure in the movie they're trying to find a way, but it's not been the thing for me. And people would probably find that odd because I'm into the Saw movies and I should like the kills, but it's never done it for me. So maybe I'll give them a go this time. I won't be on a retro or anything like that, but maybe I'll give them a go and watch. So like I said, I think I've seen one, but maybe watch some other ones. But I just, yeah, I've never felt the need to go further into them because it's just not a concept I enjoy. But we'll see. Coming out in May, see if it's a big hit or not. And then Jurassic World, Taylor. We got some good stuff going on. I don't know about good stuff. I don't know. Do you want me to set this up? Do you want to just go? What's the deal here? Taylor's like, I need 3 minutes tonight.
Need 3 minutes, yeah.
I pitched the opening of the show and I said, no, Travis is back, baby. You're going last. You're going to the end. But it's going to be its own cutout,
So yeah, I mean, S-Bubs dropped that article in the chat, and I panicked when I read it, but I calmed down after I went and I read the Vanity Fair article in whole. I read it a couple times because I thought, okay, like they do
Taylor when
share.
he first got the article.
Look at me! Oh no! Jesus Christ!
That's right, that was. I've been on the Jurassic Park train this whole week. I watched the first one, I watched Jurassic World Dominion, and I've gotten back into playing Jurassic World Evolution 2. Just living it up right now. It's a good time to be a Jurassic Park fan. You know what?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he just took his mask off. He's a dinosaur.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
I got that when I was in the States at Target.
Oh, nice. That was worth the 10 seconds of dead air, you know?
Oh yeah. So yeah, this
I'll talk. We'll get to their comments in a section. Continue.
Uh, so yeah, the movie though, I am very very excited for it. I'm excited to see this trailer. Now, the whole mention of them doing hybrids again, that definitely brought me down a bit because I thought, okay, we were done that. Like Dominion was moving off from that. We weren't going into that pool again.
Do you want to
But then
mention the specific types of hybrid? What the inspiration was?
the inspiration was Xenomorph from Alien, the Rancor from Return of the Jedi, and then just T-Rex. But I understand what they're going for. And I'm not even going to call it a hybrid because this is very different after reading the Vanity Fair article. This is, and if you don't want to know the plot details just from what they talked about in the article, check back in like 30 seconds. So
I'm sure the trailer is going to give away a lot.
yeah,
of
the
that
trailer's
too,
going to
so,
give it
yeah.
away. So we know that they're. I won't go into those other specifics, but the basic narrative is they're going to this location that is the site, the first site of the genetic testing for Jurassic Park 30 years ago. It's a very old site, and some of the things that they were doing on here basically have been thriving in the area. The site is abandoned by humans and InGen and whatnot, but we also learned that some of the stuff that they were creating necessarily was not great and like perfect creations. So everything we've seen has been dinosaurs and then the hybrids that they've intentionally been combining, like Raptor T-Rex together, boom, and Dominus Rex. That's it. They've mastered creating those. But creation isn't always perfect right off the hop. And so what I like this is that it's not hybrids. It's just mutated monstrosities. We're like, oh, we're gonna try and create a T-Rex. So let's take this frog DNA and put it into the T-Rex DNA and let's see what we get. And then boom, they just get this fucking atrocious, horrific monster. This thing is crazy. And they've hinted at that a little bit in Camp Cretaceous, where they had, I can't even remember the name of it, but it was like a special kind of like raptor dinosaur thing. And it was very much just like a monster thing. It was just not a dinosaur. I can get on board with that. I think that they have this ugly, weird, horrific, horror-looking thing that's great. And I liked what they put in the Vanity Fair article about how they're talking that the Jurassic World movies felt like it was much more like a kids movie.
Do they say kids
Like
movie?
no, not it was for
Okay.
kids but more family oriented. But then they said that the
What way to
this was
shit on that? Those are more kids
it was
movies.
core kids movies. But
Fuck.
Gareth Edwards, I think, was addressing how the first Jurassic Park movie was more like a family movie in the witness protection program or something like that. Like it's not like it's a scary movie and it has many scenes that terrify you. And I think that's again what Gareth was saying. Like with this movie, we want to really, really tackle that and really come down on that being like this is gonna be a very freaky, scary movie. And I'm so thankful for that because let's go for it. The Jurassic World movies, that trilogy just kind of it went so far away from that, with the exception of some select scenes in there that were really, really well done. Like Fallen Kingdom's intro scene on the island with the T-Rex, that's probably the best part of the whole movie, just because it's so horrifically freaky and horror vibes. So there's that going for it too. But the idea that we're getting like mutated dinosaur here, we're getting Spinosauruses back in, we're getting T-Rexes in here, we're getting what could be the Megalodon. I'm gonna pull up a photo so you can see it, Travis, because I want to know
good.
what you think of this photo here.
Dinosaur expert right here. So
people everyone's saying mosasaur in the bottom corner there. There's 3 Spinosauruses around the boat, but that to me looks like it could be a Megalodon.
I don't know, man.
You know what a Megalodon is?
Yeah, isn't it the big thing that eats a babysitter in Jurassic World, the first one?
No, that's a mosasaur. Megalodon. Remember Jason Statham, big shark?
Oh no, it's a megalodon. Okay, so I think it's a shark. Okay,
I think it's a big shark. Yeah.
and you think it's the Mosasaurus?
Well, people are saying it's a mosasaurus, which I hope it is. I don't
What
want
are you
sharks
saying?
in this movie. I don't want sharks.
But what
The
if it's
Meg
a
movie
shark?
Ruined it.
What if it's a shark just to get balked by the Mosasaurus, like Jurassic Park 3 style?
Oh, then that's okay. Yeah, the mosasaur reigns supreme. This scene in particular, too, however, I think because they reconfirmed that they confirmed that scene that they couldn't do in the first movie is that river raft scene from the book that they're going to be putting into here. Which I'm speculating that this could be it. This could be a version of it of some kind. But
Oh, you uploaded this photo. I'm like, well, how can I get rid of this photo? But it's saved now in our GeekVerse photos.
it's in there, so I can just whip it out whenever. whatever we want
Great.
there. It's just beautiful. But we'll see it tomorrow.
Well, Taylor had that reaction to this news, and then when I saw the news, and then I saw the article, and then what Taylor said, and all this other stuff, I think I'm still at.
Look at me! Oh no! Jesus Christ!
You're excited. You're excited.
I have zero excitement for this
Oh,
movie
shit.
whatsoever. I will see it. I will see it because I like Marshall Lee. I'm not seeing him as Blade anytime, and I like Edwards movies for the most part. I really liked The Creator. I think more than a lot of other people. I think Rogue One and Godzilla have some good things about them, but obviously I have problems with both of them. We have reviews and retros of them. To me, you saying, "Oh, it's not a hybrid, it's a mutated thing." That's a tomato. That's a potato. That's well, we didn't have sex, but I blew the guy. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be a dinosaur that's not a dinosaur that looks fucking weird and messed up. I think if this was a different movie, maybe I'd be more excited. But I just feel like we're out of ideas. And okay, cool. I guess like I said, that's where I like the idea of, okay, this was the testing island, not the island, but the testing island. So all the worst stuff there. But I also just think, like, if things went really bad, why didn't they just kill them? Like, no, don't let them grow up. Like, why are they letting these mutate things go around? So already I'm suspending my disbelief because it's also been so long. Like, why has this island not been just bombed? And again, it's very tough, right? I feel like the same way, not the exact same way, but there's the people that, like love Last Jedi and then they got Rise of Skywalker. And clearly, if you love that, there's lots of things that film does that you would go, oh, I'm not a fan of this. To me, we had talked about before, and the last movie literally ended with the whole setup of dinosaurs in the wild. What are we gonna do? We got that great short film, right, of that family camping, and then they've just said like, oh, in this movie they found out that dinosaurs, they couldn't really survive in our world now, so they went back. And it's like, oh, well, that's lame. And what are we doing? Another people go there because I guess they said what this is. They find out that there's some strand in the dinosaurs that can cure heart disease, right? So it's the same thing as like Julianne Moore going to an island to do some stuff, and then they get left behind, and something goes wrong, and then there's no Wi-Fi, and then instead of dinosaurs this time, it's mutated dinosaurs, and that fucking blows to me. I trust this director a lot more than Colin Trevorrow. I like the cast, so I'm going to go in with an open mind because I would like to enjoy it. I like the idea of saying, "Oh, we're going to make more horror type of vibes," but I think with that franchise, you can only go so long or so far, because I think that like the way these are billion-dollar movies, those last three, I think it's kind of similar to the Bay Transformer ones. Like, I don't know if the general audience is wanting a more horror-based Jurassic World. Like, I think the Jurassic World horror levels that they got in that trilogy is just the right amount for them. I don't know, like you say that, I'm like, oh, that sounds great. And Gareth saying that, like, oh, that sounds great. But I don't know if the GA is clamoring for that, right? And I just wonder if this movie, like, it's going to be interesting because those last three all made $1 billion, and I think if it just makes a little bit under or still a big hit, then they're fine. But if there's like a big decline, I still think it has a lot to do with people are done with, not done, but I mean like people didn't like that last like Dominion, so they're not going to come back. But still, you'll never know, right? So yeah, I'm gonna be curious how it goes. Finally, Espop says, giving me vibes like when the director of Dominion said that one dinosaur was like the Joker. Yeah, I did not enjoy that interview. It just made me more and more worried. So we'll see. And I just feel like I'm surprised, I guess, with Jurassic Park, because I feel like one of the main things you didn't like in Romulus is exactly what you explained here, of that ending having something very mutated. And you're like, I don't know about this. Like, don't you think there's a chance if you see this mutated thing or multiple things, you're like the same way when you're like, oh, Megalodon just doesn't fit. You know, like there's gonna be a moment where you see what they've created and you go, oh, this looks awful, and you can't get into the third act is them being chased by this mutated T-Rex. You're just like, oh, I'm not digging this at all. Like, it's just like, what if it's part human, like they're gonna do in Jurassic Park 4, where like I just feel like there is lots of room for error when you get more into the very sci-fi realm.
There absolutely is that possibility of me being completely turned off by whatever we get at the end. Romulus, that's, for me, it's different because I would have preferred it if it was just the xenomorphs and not necessarily all that black goop stuff and that thing at the end. But with this, like I was never super opposed to the hybrids. I thought it was cool with the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor. Those were some cool things, but they weren't executed like in the greatest of ways. I still think there's a lot more stuff you can do just with the regular dinosaurs. And the idea here where, okay, they're going to be trapped on an island, they're going to have dinosaurs everywhere. This kind of gives me Jurassic Park 3 vibes where they're stuck here and they have this old facility and all the dinosaurs are running loose, which gets me very excited at the fact that there's that. And then we have just, okay, these things that have been here genetically created that shouldn't have been genetically created. There's some mutated abominations and they just have the 30 years to just grow and evolve further.
It's the
and
thing.
whatnot. Like,
It's the thing from Romulus. Like it's just that.
just that thing. Yeah.
That's the dinosaur.
That's his alien inspiration.
Yeah, the xenomorph. I loved Romulus. I saw it and said, "Get me that." Superman Mike says, "Fallen Kingdom was not very well liked. Dominion still made $1 billion though. That international money, absolutely. That's just why I was comparing it to Bay's Transformers, where you had it that people just would turn out and go, and then eventually." I think it was the last night, right? Like I feel like it's like a big drop. Let's see, last night. Like eventually it catches up, right? Eventually, people go, you know what? Oh, even then it's still a big hit. But like I think it was like the first Transformers, and then they all made $1 billion till the last night. And the last night made 600 million. Now again, that's a big hit, and I can actually see that being the trajectory of this. But then what happened after? Bumblebee, Transformer One. What is the Rise of the Beast? Did you ever see that Rise of the Beast one?
Rise of the Beast? Yeah, I did a review for it.
Oh, he did. Sorry about that. I never listened, but I'm excited for that G.I. Joe movie that they still haven't fucking started to do. But ever since then, like, well, let me just quickly check. Like, Bumblebee movie. Let's just see the box office numbers here, because I remember it being like kind of light. That made 468 million. Transformers 1, that was a bomb. You haven't watched that one yet, have you?
Transformers 1? No, I've not seen it.
Oh, I'm surprised. I hear nothing but good things. Everyone just says it's like really good. I just haven't got around to it, but I thought you would be all over that. And then Rise of the Beast made 440. So they're stuck in that. And like, you know what? Some people might not like me to say it. I think some people will agree with me. Some people don't agree with me. But for me, another case of that was BVS, where like obviously Man of Steel was a $1 billion film. But for me, BVS, I feel like kind of sunk a lot of the future stuff. I know other people are like, oh, Joss Whedon's Justice League, this, it wasn't Zack's stuff. I don't know. I used to see these movies with a lot of people, and then we saw BVS with my friends group, and then when Justice League rolled around, they weren't seeing it. And it wasn't because they're like, well, you know, Joss Whedon's directing this. It's like, no, that last one was bad. So, Mike, you're right. And I suppose, yeah, Bay would get 500 million from China. Absolutely right. But what does happen is eventually there's one movie that starts the crater, right? And to me, BVS was a bit of that. You had still some hits, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, but I mean, like overall. But with the Bay stuff, it was like whatever. What was before Last Night, Taylor? What was the movie before that? Extinction, something? Rise of Extinction?
Age of Extinction.
Age of Extinction. Yeah, that was the one that clearly they put that out. That's the first one with Marky Mark, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they put that out, and then clearly people started to taper off because they didn't come back as much for Last Night, and then Bumblebee, and then Rise of the Beast. So that's where I wonder if Dominion could be that, right? Especially Dominion, you got to remember, it had that bump and bring the original cast back. It's a lot different. I wonder if do you think Dominion makes $1 billion, Taylor, if Sam Neill and Laura Dern are back or aren't back? Because I don't. I'm not saying it bombs, but I don't think it makes $1 billion.
That's tricky to say.
I feel like that brought a lot of people like
not. I think it brought
like
a lot.
That brought people like me that like I'm done with these movies, but it's like, oh, Sam Neill's back. All right, I gotta see this, you know. So and he was still good in it. That's a good thing. They were all enjoyable. So
It'll be interesting to see though how this is set up. Is this, Rebirth just implies like, hey, we're doing a whole new plethora of movies. I really thought Dominion was the last one. So how this movie does, like storyline wise, are we gonna get another trilogy? Is this just one off, like an anthology? I don't know, but I'm gonna have to start and finish Chaos Theory on Netflix so I can kind of catch up with the storyline here.
Right, and you saw The Creator, right? Edwards' last movie, yeah, and that's something he shot on like a smaller camera. It was a budget of 80 million. That's the thing where like if they can keep this, obviously they're gonna be big dinosaurs, but if they can keep this down a lot, I think it can be a profit. So
Jurassic World 4. Ooh, interesting. With a budget of 265 million.
What was this? Sorry.
265 million is what I'm seeing on here. I don't know if that's
I
that's what
wouldn't
some
trust
people
that
say.
yet. I would wait till we're closer to that. I don't know if they'd have a budget there yet. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this episode. We thank you very much for tuning in. And when you hear from us next, won't be boring. If you're watching live, it's secret. We're just gonna record more episode right now. I was gonna go to a different room, but we got some people in the chat, so we'll just record a nice little bonus end credit, hour-long end credit. We're gonna skip what we're watching because we've already been longer. So we're gonna talk about just a few Marvel things. We're gonna talk about some Brave New World predictions, some Spider-Man love interest. Those rumors that Spider-Man 4 he's getting a new love interest and Day has a small role, and then some little Ghost Rider stuff for Taylor. So Taylor Field, obviously, it's just us two for I'm Travis Snell. I guess I should I intro this? I don't know. Hi, I'm Travis Snell. Clownflix
Hi.
Podcast.
Dinosaur Man, Taylor Field.
Yes, different opening because we record 2 episodes together. So not doing the whole big shaboom and everything. All the links are down below, and we'd very much appreciate if you check out all the reviews we do, the newscasts, and the Patreon because you get lots of goodies on there. Ad-free episodes, exclusive episodes, retrospectives like Superman, Fantastic Four, lots of good stuff on there. But we're here to talk about, it's just a Marvel cast day, a lot of good stuff. And like I said, we're skipping what we've been watching. We'll get back to that in a few weeks from now. So Taylor Field, did you? Oh my God, he's gone. I threw to him and he's gone, this bastard. So I'm gonna throw to myself. And in the chat too, people in the chat right now, if anyone's there. Oh, he sent me a private chat. Keep chatting. Be right back, bastard. Doesn't even make sure I see it, but let me know. You guys give me an out of 10 if anyone's in chat there. Because we're getting late. But what is your excitement level? I don't know where mine is because I haven't given this much thought. Like, does it sound bad to say like a 6? It's weird because like I like Anthony Mackie. I like he was the right choice for Cap. I like Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm happy with Harrison Ford in this movie. I guess it's just, and it's not even because like the reshoot stuff. I just haven't seen any trailers that have made me over the moon about this. Oh my God, Mike, a 4.5 out of 10. What about it makes it so it's not even a pass? But I guess even then, I'm talking about it being a 6, right? For me, like there's just something where I'm not too excited. But the good thing is, I think that my lower expectations could help it overshoot it. That might help me enjoy it more. But I'm not expecting anything like amazing. So Tara, I said I'm currently kind of like a 6 out of 10. Mike was saying 4.5. Espip says I'd be about the same as 6 because I haven't thought about the movie at all, but I'm gonna see it. And yes, that's the thing. Like obviously MCU review these things, and there's characters I like, so I don't feel like I'm seeing it like because I have to. Like we had talked about this before I came back. Like I still haven't seen Craven, right? There was a time where I would see every Marvel movie. I will see Craven eventually, but I'm in no rush. Most of the MCU stuff, I'm still invested enough, and I'm invested in like Sam as Captain America, but Mike's point is I still don't know what it's really about. The Hulk stuff seems forced. The Hulk stuff, that's just previewing it to try and get some money, and we'll talk about that when we get to the money side of our predictions. But Taylor, how are you feeling right now, excitement wise, for Brave New World?
Um, a couple of the latest trailers have boosted my excitement a little bit more, but I don't feel an overwhelming abundant amount of just eagerness going into this. And I'm sure once I'm in the theater and I'm watching it, I'll probably start to really be enjoying the story as it unfolds. But right now, I just kind of have the same vibes as Falcon and Winter Soldier, which I wasn't like over the moon for that, but I feel like this just has a very similar kind of aesthetic to that. And while it was good and I enjoyed parts of it, it just wasn't like a big game changer for me with the MCU in any way. So we'll see how this does in the long run. But that being said, going in, there are a couple things I am looking forward to seeing, like the leader and a couple other little things like the Eternals kind of connection and just where the world is at right now, because I'm hoping that we get some kind of lead into or tie into the Avengers team at this point. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to.
Well, you spoil my question there because Clay, what you can do when you join Patreon, sending a question for the newscast, said putting aside your predictions, what is the number one thing you hope the movie does? And what's the number one thing you hope the movie isn't or doesn't do? So would you say that's your number one is some connection to the movies? Other than let's take away the like, we hope it's a good movie because of course we don't want it to be a bad movie. So take that away. That's your number one thing?
That'd be my number one thing.
That'd be my number two thing is just some finally connection or setup to like who are the Avengers? What are we doing? I don't think we're gonna get in a vast amount, but just finally that we're doing it. I still think it's too late. I still think they bungled a lot of stuff in this phase. I think we definitely when this the saga is over, we should do like a Patreon Breaded about episode or something where we talk about like 5 things we would have done to fix this saga, you know, because the Avengers not being around, that's one of them. The number one thing I want in this, other than just being a good movie, I want to make sure that Sam is a character, and I think he already is, right? But I think I want him to be it sounds cheesy and stupid, but I want him to be a great and compelling Captain America, but not for the same reason Sam is, right? And I think, like I said, with Falcon Winter Soldier, they're already doing that, but now I want to see that in the movie. I don't want this just to be like an action movie, and that's the thing with the Hulk stuff. I feel like they've been really hitting on, but I want there to be a reason for me to really care. The same way with Steve Rogers, where you know I feel like these guys got more on bandwagon, and I'm biased because I don't love the good guy, goody two shoe superheroes, but Cap I do, and that's the thing where he was always my guy. But I felt like even Winter Soldier, we got to see him get pushed where he fought and got frozen for his country, right? And then when he came up, it was something different. And then the people he working for was part of Hydra and Hitler and Nazis and stuff like that, right? Like now I want to see like how he was tested and when he had to do in that adversity. I want to see what Sam would do under similar type of adversity and not just can he fight the Hulk, you know? Because that's stuff where I know people go, well, it doesn't make sense. He doesn't have the super soldier serum. I don't believe this. It's a comic book fucking movie. The guy has like vibranium like flying wings, you know? Like it's the same way. It's just like Batman can beat Superman and people can believe that. But if Sam, God forbid, beats the Hulk, well, he's just a normal guy. I don't know how he could do like that's the lamest, like least things I'm interested in as at all. That's the same thing with the Thunderbolts. When people go, oh, they all have the same power sets. It's like, I don't care. I'm interested because I like all those characters. So that's what I want. I want Sam to be tested and put under a specific situation that's specific to him that I can enjoy him coming out on and being like, okay, and really feel like this is Captain America now. You know, I don't want to feel also you got these rumors that Cap or Evans coming back, maybe the villain. I like that. I think that could establish him more as far as like Mackie beats like evil Captain America, but that's down the line, right? Watch Evans just fucking murder him like Thor or Thanos did to Hulk at the beginning of Infinity War. They're just like, no more Captain Americas now, and he just decapitates him, and there goes Sam. But what do you think this is gonna do overall? The tracking for this was the opening weekend of 75 to 95, and there's not an overall tracking, but where do you think it's gonna fit in there? I can pull up some numbers for you. Let me so MCU if you need them, if you want some touchstone like other Captain America movies, etc. But do you have a number right now that's in your head?
Oh my goodness. 600.
600 million. Wow.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's around a safe play.
So Civil War was 1.5, but that's in a 1.5 billion, but that was an Avengers movie, you know, like pretty much. Winter Soldier was 714, and then Captain America: The First Avenger was 370. Not a lot of people cared about Cap back then. Okay, and what's your opening weekend?
Oh, 15
million?
Yeah.
15.
Is that too low?
15 million? That would be a disaster. The Companion just made 10 million.
Companion. Oh, okay. Well, let's say it's gonna make 50 million. 50. That's what I meant to say.
If this movie makes 15 million, like what did Madam Web make opening weekend? Madam Web opening weekend. That made 17. So that made 17 million. So you're saying Captain America with Anthony Mackie's
5-0, 5-0.
gonna make 2 million less. My God,
50,
that's scary.
5-0.
Did you actually mean 50, or did you just screw up and say 15?
I meant 15 at the start. I wasn't exactly sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this thing makes. I think it's gonna make more than the first Captain America because the MCU is just more established now, and people go out, and there's not like a ton to see in February, right? I don't think this is gonna have great word of mouth. I don't think it's gonna travel too far as legs go, and I do think it's tough because I agree with Mike that they haven't shown a lot of story. They haven't shown a reason for you to get hooked. Now there's two things into that. I think it's because one, either the story is not good and they don't want to show that, or two, and I think what's unfortunate for them is the story is very political, and they've said that up and down. It's a political thriller. What do they keep saying? It's like Winter Soldier. It's very much like Winter Soldier. And to me, that's the problem where in a world where there's so much stuff going on, tariffs, DII, stupid presidents, whatever, go Canada, go. Sorry, American listeners. I'm going to buy the Canadian products, but I think most of you American listeners know, we're in some trouble now. So I think we're all in agreement that there's a lot of stuff going on, right? But the problem is with all this stuff going on, since your new boy is back in office, every day there's something, and it's usually bad news, but it's something political, right? I think even with just the election alone, I think people are tired of this type of stuff. And we're gonna have elections soon. I think people are just very tired of politics right now. So I think when the campaign started of being the president's almost assassinated and this and that, I feel like there's a lot of people that go, man, I don't really want to do this. The same way for me after COVID, when there was movies that this is set during COVID, I wanted nothing to do with that. I'd skip that, wouldn't watch that, or it hurt grades because just I lived through that. I lived through the whole, and it's minor stuff. It's first world stuff. I luckily had nobody pass away. We didn't get sick. If we did, it was minorly, but little stuff of for a year, my kid couldn't do this, this, and this. You couldn't do a birthday party. You couldn't do Christmas with your family. And it's I didn't want to watch movies and this is in COVID. It's no, I had no interest. Right away, that made me check out. I think the political side with this movie does that to a lot of people. And I think it's coming out in a very tough time. I think retrospectively, they maybe thought, we're going to bounce off of that. But when Winter Soldier came out, that was 2014, so that was in the middle of Obama's second term. And whatever you want to say, whether you like Obama or not, Republican, right wing, you could agree that the turmoil in America in 2014 was nowhere near what it is now, right? You weren't putting out a movie a political thriller. I don't know if I'm into that. Where now I think there's a group of people that don't want to, and of course there's a group of people that are not my cap, but I think those are so small. Those are people that wouldn't watch it anyways the first go around. I think it's just I'm saying I'm with Mike here. Mike says 450 million overall and 90 million opening. And yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's not good because if it's 450, that makes it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it makes it the 8th lowest film of the MCU. And it's tough because Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals are in COVID time. So to me, it's really pretty much bottom 5, and that's not good. And I don't know how Thunderbolts is going to really do either. So I'm thinking 450. I think it's going to be just barely break even, kind of a loss. And I don't think we're going to see another Captain America project, unfortunately. So we'll see. Is anyone going to die in this, Taylor?
Ooh.
Main characters, of course, not talking about
The leader.
civilians.
The leader is going to die.
Really? You're never going to see the leader and the Hulk face off. The leader's going to get taken out, eh?
I think the Hulk is kind of on his way out the door, too, and they're kind of bringing in all these different characters.
Scar and She-Hulk. I think he might have been, but I don't know if he is anymore. Because I don't know if they're ever doing anything with She-Hulk again. For me, sadly, because I like She-Hulk. Scar, I see no future there. Red Hulk, he is just a villain for the most part. Yeah, that's tough for me. I think I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's going to get locked up. I don't think anyone of note is going to die other than maybe Isaiah Bradley. I think he could kick the bucket, but I think most of the characters are going to make it out. They'll want to keep Red Hulk around. And I think, the new Falcon, he'll still be around. You know, he'll be okay. But yeah, I don't think anything major. I don't. Yeah, Mackie. He just gets killed. But Superman Mike says even the lead up to getting political, people taking Mackie's comments and blowing them up. Yeah, which was dumb. It's just like they're just doing that because one, the political timer are, and they're just doing that because he's a black guy. They're doing that because like Chris Evans and that like because I'm not sure. Did you see his comments, Taylor, where he said like Captain America to him wasn't representing Canada. No, it's not representing Canada, of course.
Canada.
It's not representing America. It's just representing of like what a good person you could be. And people are like, that's not American yet, and stuff. But it's like literally in Winter Soldier, Captain America, Steve Rogers was making that like he's turning on his country and talking about like even Civil War, right? But I wasn't sure if you saw those comments that he had made about like, well, I don't think it represents America, and then he tried to say like he backpedaled a little because I'm sure his agent was like, "Oh, some people don't like your comments," but yeah, some people lost their mind over nothing to me. But let's see what else here. Any cameos here? Obviously, you got Hulk. You got Red Hulk. We gotta get any Hulk people in here?
I think maybe you might see a Bruce Banner. I think there's a chance because I mean we got the leader and we got Red Hulk, so I think you could have a high chance of a Bruce Banner. I think it's only fitting. Because I mean Falcon's gonna have to make a call about some Gamma stuff. But, like who else can you call?
Probably, and it's just like, I guess unless it happens really quickly though, right? Like if Red
Very
Hulk
quick.
is like, but that's why he's not gonna have time to call if it happens quick though, right? Maybe in the end credits, be like, hey, where were you? I could use your help, but. If he turns into Red Hulk, he doesn't have time just to call Bruce Banner.
No, he doesn't. That's true. I don't know who else could really pop up. I mean, I don't feel like we have a lot of characters that really would partake in a crossover like this. I don't think most characters would be like, yeah, I'll help you fight a Red Hulk.
Well, they should be. There should be other heroes out there trying to help, you know.
But who do we got right now? Hawkeye's not doing it. We got.
Well, we have another Hawkeye out there. Kate
Bishop's gonna be there and be like, I'm at this presidential meeting. I'll help you, Sam Wilson.
Miss Marvel.
I think all those people would get killed.
What about Cat?
Cat?
Well, what if Sam? You're those people. You're like Sam needs a serum. Sam could take on Hulk. Captain
Sam
Marvel might be
can.
on Earth. Wait, you're saying Sam can, but Miss Marvel can, who has like actual superpowers? She's a mutant. Wow. What about Captain Marvel?
I don't see
She's on
any
Earth?
kid superheroes being able to kill or not kill, defeat Red Hulk.
Wiccan? Wiccan would fuck Red Hulk up. He'd have no idea where he is.
We don't know where no one knows where Wiccan is right now.
No, but I mean, like, the mind games he would do to Red Hulk. Red Hulk would have no idea where Red Hulk is.
I think by the time Wiccan's trying to conjure up a spell, Red Hulk has just thrown a helicopter's propeller through the air and, like, sliced him in half. Final Destination style.
What about Tony's daughter?
No, that's a hard no.
Ironheart? That's another kid hero?
Ironheart without her armor, yeah.
She can make a Hulkbuster.
She could make a Hulkbuster, but that even
Red Hulkbuster?
I don't know.
What other kid heroes do we got here? Scar?
Scar? I think he's definitely the top contender.
That's bullshit. I would draft Wiccan and I'd probably draft Kate before Scar. God damn. All right, so I got 3. I don't like this because, unfortunately, because I've been away, and Dylan's moving. The drafts have been delayed. We're doing them before the movies and stuff, but usually by now I would have drafted and I could say these. So one's a maybe spoiler pick of mine, so Taylor might try to pick it. He should be a gentleman and not pick it because Dylan Kirkland, maybe they're listening, maybe they're not. Who knows? But actually, they won't be because this episode will come out after the draft. So I hopefully already have her, but I would love Liv Tyler. And I think because I plan on drafting Betty Ross because I think there's a chance and she's not been advertised. So I can get those unadvertised points. I'd very much like them to dovetail that together if they're bringing the leader. I don't know if it's going to happen. We had heard rumors, but I'd very much like that. And I'd like her to end up back talking to, Hulk and get Ruffalo in there. Like I love Incredible Hulk. So the more we could add there, that'd be great. I think Bucky's always a chance, right? End credit, like, oh, I fought a Red Hulk or whatever, right? Or even if it's just to set up Thunderbolts. Like, remember Phase 2 MCU used to be like, oh, the end credit of Winter Soldier was the, the twins, right? Like Wanda and Pietro. And then the end credit for Ant-Man was a scene from Civil War. I think they might, and they probably should get back to like what we got fucking Harry Styles, Star Fox. We got like Hercules, Thor, Love and Thunder. Like there's all these end credits where it's like, these aren't leading anywhere, are they? Like this isn't happening. They should maybe go back to let's just advertise the next project. Thunderbolts is in May. It could just be someone who set that up. And then finally, if we're gonna get any Avengers action, I could see this is where the Fury card was played, where Nick Fury pops up and they kind of almost not recreate, but do a new version of the event. Like I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, something like that. Like he wants to get the band, a new band, back together because he's seen like the Earth is scattered, right? So those are my 3 cameos I think that could happen. I don't think old Steve. I'd like it if you did like the Power Broker. Remember Sharon? She was in the show, but she hasn't been seen since then. So,
Yeah.
But those are my 3. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. And that's why for end credits, it's the same thing. I think that end credits would be Nick Fury doing some. Oh God, sorry. Doing some sort of, hey, you know, like let's get the team back together. I'd even like it at least if they like threw up an image that had like a few of the contenders. And then when I mean the few contenders, I mean like the actual people that are gonna be in the team, not just like random stuff. Like don't throw Rocket Raccoon, like people that could be on the Avengers. I think then I could actually get invested like, oh, who are these characters? Who are the actors that are gonna be in the Avengers? You know, sometimes I don't think they even know. But that's what I think could be the end credit, and then setting up Thunderbolts. So I guess my cameos are kind of the exact same thing for the prediction or for the end credit prediction. So nothing too crazy, but this remake says, "Oh damn, I forgot about Sharon. That was such a big cliffhanger and went nowhere." Yeah, it did. They did too much, too fast. I think they were gonna do all these projects, and then some didn't happen. But Taylor, any end credit predictions?
Ooh, my goodness. I think something Valentina related, Thunderbolts related, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Valtina's a good pick. Yeah, she could always pop up there. Okay, Taylor, you had days to prepare this. I don't know if you did. Chat
Oh, it's
GPT.
prepared.
Okay,
It's
give it
prepared.
to us. It's back.
So, it's called Captain America: Dark Horizons.
right.
Prologue: A new era for America. The world has changed, and President
Isn't it?
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross was determined to change it further. Standing at the podium in the White House, Rose Garden, the newly inaugurated President of the United States addressed the world. His face was weathered by years of battle, his voice firm and unwavering. The world is in chaos, Ross declared. We have gods, monsters, and superpowered criminals running unchecked. America needs strength, not weakness, which is why under my administration we will no longer stand by while so-called heroes dictate our future. Behind him, a newly assembled elite security task force clad in cutting-edge battle armor stood at attention. Ross wasn't just making promises, he was preparing for war. Watching from the crowd, Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, folded his arms. Something about this didn't sit right. Ross was a soldier, a fighter, but now he's the most powerful man in the world, and he was setting the stage for something dangerous, and Sam was about to find out just how dangerous. Gamma crisis in Washington. Days later, an attack shook the nation's capital. A military convoy transporting a classified serum, Gamma X, was ambushed. The attackers moved with precision, eliminating guards before vanishing without a trace. The stolen cargo contained an experimental gamma serum rumored to be even more potent than the one that created the Hulk.
Oh.
Ross, furious, called an emergency meeting at the Pentagon with War Machine, Bucky Barnes, and Bruce Banner all present.
Okay, hang on. War Machine, Bucky Barnes, and Bruce Banner. So they're saying in this you're gonna have War Machine, Winter Soldier, and Hulk.
Yes.
Okay, not honestly, like not gonna happen. But those are actually like make sense in this realm of the character, right? Because well, even though we'd have to find out what's happening with Scrody, like if this was what happened with
Yeah.
that. But like sometimes these chat GPTs just pull like random Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom and Professor X are here to help Captain America. And you're like, okay, so no, these characters fit. Okay.
This was an inside job, Rhodes said, scanning the security footage. These guys were fast, military trained, and knew exactly what they were looking for. Banner looked at the radiation signature, left the scene, and his stomach dropped. This isn't just stolen tech, it's an invasion plan. That night, Washington, D.C. was attacked. A monstrous hulking figure, skin burned red, tore through the city, his strength unlike anything the Avengers had ever faced. It was Red Hulk. And he was under someone's control. The leader's plan. Deep beneath the ruins of an abandoned nuclear facility, Samuel Stearns watched his plan unfold. The former scientist, now one of the most intelligent beings on Earth, had been working in the shadows since his gamma-induced transformation years ago.
It's really writing a variation of the movie, hey, so far.
It
You got the
is.
leader and Red Hulk, but you got the other Avengers, so okay, continue.
His brain had evolved beyond human comprehension, and now he was ready to shape the world in his image. Ross had unknowingly played right into his hands. You wanted power, Ross, the leader murmured. Observing the rampaging Red Hulk on a massive monitor, I just helped you embrace it. Ross had been infected, the Gamma X serum now coursing through his veins. The leader had activated his transformation remotely, and now Ross was nothing more than a mindless weapon for the leader's grander scheme. He wasn't alone. Other test subjects, hand-picked soldiers exposed to different gamma variations, were locked in cryogenic pods awaiting their own transformations. The leader's vision wasn't just to create more Hulks, it was to make the entire world gamma-powered.
So he's turned into a fucking lizard from Amazing Spider-Man.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
God damn.
Madripoor, City of Secrets. Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes tracking the stolen Gamma X serum infiltrate a black market auction. In Madripoor, the underworld had gotten wind of the serum's power, and now the worst criminals in the world were bidding on samples. Among them was a towering mercenary with cybernetic tendrils, Omega Red, one of the leaders of
Oh,
Forcers.
fuck yeah. Here we go. Now, $1 billion movie right now. Omega Red? Hell yeah.
Before the auction could finish, the attack begun. Bucky engaged Omega Red, their brutal fight shattering walls. Sam took the serum vials before he could escape. A second Red Hulk appeared, stronger, faster, and more controlled. Red She-Hulk, Betty Ross,
Oh,
was
okay.
here.
There
Is
we
that
go.
a thing? Does she become a Red Hulk?
I believe that sounds right. I don't think I knew it was Betty, but that's probably right. I'm not a Hulk connoisseur, so that sounds right.
Betty, once presumed dead, had been reborn through gamma mutation. Unlike her father, she was completely aware of her power. You can't stop what's coming, she told Sam, her eyes glowing red. The leader is evolving the world, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. The final battle, the Hulk War. The battle reached its climax in New York City, where the leader prepared to launch a gamma pulse satellite that would transform millions into gamma-powered beings. Ross, having regained control of himself, was still trapped in his Red Hulk form, but now he was angry. This isn't the country I fought for, Ross growled, looking at the chaos his transformation had caused, and it sure as hell isn't the one I swore to protect. For the first time, Ross fought alongside Captain America. Sam and War Machine led the aerial strike, preventing the gamma satellites from launching. Bucky and Ross took on Red She-Hulk, trying to stop her before she could unleash the gamma wave manually.
So is
Bruce
Omega
Banner-
Red not even here? Did he just have that random fight with Bucky?
He had
and
that
was
fight,
it?
then he buggered off, I guess.
Just to get that $1 billion. Okay, fair enough.
Bruce Banner and the leader engaged in a mental battle, their minds clashing in a psychic war of intellect.
Okay.
I can't see.
Alright.
Well, Bruce, yeah, not regular Hulk.
Yeah, it just feels weird. Like they're all having this big thing, and then like they're like having like a Inception battle. It's
A
like,
chess
okay.
battle.
Yeah.
The battle ended with Ross sacrificing himself, using his unstable gamma form to create a massive EMP blast, shutting down the leader's technology and ending the gamma threat. In the wreckage, Ross, now permanently trapped as Red Hulk, looked at Sam. You're a good soldier, Ross admitted, better than I was. Then he vanished into the wilderness, a fugitive from the country he once led. I can see him running into the woods.
Hey, you know it's full circle. That's how he served Bruce, right? Bruce had to be on the run, and
That's
now
right.
he's on the run.
So
Again,
that's the end.
I would just love if like the president just turned to Red Hulk, and then he's just like, where is he? Oh, he ran in the woods.
He ran
He's
in the
gone.
woods. That's the end there, but I got 2 post-credit scenes that
Perfect.
produced.
Like imagine teaching that class in history class like 40 decades later to kids. Like, oh, tell us what Thaddeus Ross. Oh, okay.
He's president for about 2 weeks, turned into a Red Hulk, and then ran off into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Some
And then
he's
he-
still out
yeah.
there.
And he teamed with Omega Red.
Yeah, Team Omega Red.
The Russian?
In a high-security government facility, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine walked towards a reinforced containment cell. Inside, sitting in the shadows, was Red Hulk, Thaddeus
Damn it! I
Ross.
thought it was gonna be Mega Red. So they caught him. So
They caught him. He ran off, but they caught him. He's not as evasive as the regular Bruce Banner Hulk.
No, they caught him. Right? He ran off to the wilderness, and then a week later they caught him. They caught him, and geez, okay, that just feels. That's like the Multiverse of Madness end credit, like when the movie ends with Doctor Strange, like, oh, and then the next scene he's like, "Hi, Clea, that's nice to meet you." Like he's completely normal. Like that's what that is. Like, when will we see you next? I don't know. And then we see him locked up. Okay, cool.
Valentina smirked. Mr. President, or should I say ex-president? Ross didn't respond. He was stronger now. Pardon me. More dangerous than ever. Valentina slid a file across the table. It read, Project Thunderbolts. You lost your country, she said. How about I give you a new mission? Ross narrowed his glowing eyes. I'm listening. Second scene.
All right, that's like a believable like MCU one actually. That's not outrageous. It's not like, and then Magneto, whatever. So
A storm raged across a blood-red sky. Deep within an ancient coliseum, a single cryopod cracked open. Inside, a monstrous figure stirred, massive, green, and filled with untamed fury. His glowing eyes opened. He was Scar, the son of Hulk. A group of alien warriors knelt before him. The time has come, their leader said. Your father abandoned you, but we will give you a kingdom. Scar clenched his fists, his power shaking the room. No, he growled. Take me to Earth. She's already on Earth in the MCU, so...
he's gotta go back.
Yeah.
He's gonna go back. That was it, eh?
That's it.
Okay, a bit more being reserved. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Very reserved, yeah.
Very
For a reserved movie.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's take an ad break and then we'll be right back. And we're back. So, okay, this happened, I think it was like last week or something like that. Taylor, Superman Mike says Taylor definitely fed Scar into the prompt. Did you?
I did not.
No?
I did not. It automatically pulled it.
Okay, we'll see. We'll get them all.
And it
eye
kept
detected.
prompting too. I just said, like, write me a post-credits scene. It was like, post-credits 1 with Valentina. Post-credits 2 with Scar. Like, it kept insisting those two.
Scar's the next big thing, So, so it had come out like the past couple weeks that obviously Tom Holland and Zendaya, they're in Odyssey together with Nolan's movie. Supposedly Euphoria season 3 is filming, so it's more and more coming out like, hey, Zendaya's role at Spider-Man 4 is smaller. And then the other reason why it can be smaller is because there's supposedly rumor going around that Peter Parker's going to be getting a new love interest. Now, we've heard like kind of this before, but obviously the Spider-Man 4 rumors have been all over the fucking place. They've been changing like rapidly, just like Scar going from Earth to space, Earth to space. But Taylor Phil, I wanted to ask you, out of like, and I'd have to look him up, but out of like his plethora of women, you got Gwen Stacy in there, you got Silk, we've talked about her before, where it's a spider that bit her. Or the same spider that bit her, so they have this connection.
Sexual connection.
Like I said, Gwen Stacy, you got Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. I feel like I'm missing another one in there. Or Betty Brant, also. Like I guess it wouldn't be Betty Brant because they already have her in the MCU. That she's that blonde girl. But let's go Spider-Man love interest. See if there's anyone else I'm missing here. But is there anybody that, when you hear this report, comes to your mind of like the person you'd want to see?
I'm gonna say Silk. Definitely was really jiving with that. But the spider's dead in this universe, so it couldn't technically be that same spider.
Unless it bit her right away.
Unless it did bite her right away, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Betty. Oh, I don't know. I think we've already seen Betty. Yeah, like I think it'd be cool to see a Gwen Stacy in this universe. Actually, I think that for me personally, I think that would be this. It would be safe, but not in like a bad safe way. It'd just be fun, MJ is on hiatus for a little bit, so we'll just bring in Gwen Stacy.
If you couldn't get, so here we go. Let's go through these all quickly because I thought this would be. I thought there'd be 4 of us. It would be a longer topic, but how about if you can't get Gwen Stacy, you get Jill Stacy?
Who's
Jill
Jill Stacy?
Stacy was Gwen's cousin. At first, Jill was there as a friend to Mary Jane, but then eventually she ended up getting close to Peter when him and MJ had some trouble. When Peter thought MJ died, he moved on to the relationship with Jill, but that all ended when Mary Jane turned out to still be alive. So you could do. That's the thing. Like before I read off this list, because most of them are probably humorous. I just wonder, like, what is it? Is it actually a relationship? Is just someone where he's dating them, but the second MJ remembers who Peter Parker is, he's like, yeah, I gotta go with MJ, and they're like, yeah, go be with your love. Or is it just a fling? I really don't know. I guess before I go on this list too, what I would absolutely fucking love, they would never do it, I would love to be someone else in the MCU. The same way of like in the comic books, Jessica Jones went to Peter Parker's high school and had a crush on him. They wouldn't do this, but I would love it if like he's in New York. Imagine if he just bumped into Kate Bishop and they had a little fling. How fun would that
That'd be
be?
pretty
You know? That'd be so cool. Even if it's like they don't even have to fuck or anything, like just like they're dating, there's a kiss, and then there is like the MJ comes back or whatever. Like we talked about that. Remember when we were doing comic book versions? I can't remember. Oh, it's when we did House of M, right? And I can't remember who it was. Wasp was dating somebody, and then there was another couple, and we were like, man, there's so many people. Yeah, Miss Marvel. That'd be another one too. He's in Kamala Khan's neighborhood. They bump together. Boom. Like when we read those comic books, that was always so fun to say, okay, which random two characters are dating or having a fling? I think like I can't remember. I think Wasp was dating like Clint Barton or something. Like that's the thing where if it's gonna be that, like I guess I'm of three minds because I like Black Cat. She would be my pick. We've never gone live action. And I think because at one point Sony was going to do a movie, now that they're pausing those movies, it's back on the board. And I think that's great. I don't know how much they'll sexualize her. They should sexualize her because she's a sexual character. She uses that to her advantage. That's how she beats people. But to me, it has to be Black Cat. This is going to sound stupid. Black Cat, Silk, or Gwen Stacy as like a spider person because my other point of when he's dating people, why Taylor? Why is he not dating MJ at the end of No Way Home? Why does he not tell her who he is?
Because she's happy. She's doing her life.
Kind of, but he goes to tell her, and she breaks. She pushes her hair back, and she has a scar or like she has a bandage on her head, right? So Epiphany, well, I can't be with her because she's gonna get hurt. So I've never understood. This happens all the time, right? Where Peter's like, oh, I can't be with you. But then he'll go date some other random girl that could just be snatched up by Goblin, right? To me, he has to date somebody that has superpowers or is a hero. So to me, that's why it has to be Black Cat or Silk. And Silk, I think, would have been great. Minor spoilers for Spider-Man 2, the game, but they introduced Silk like she's gonna, looks like being the third one as a playable character. Amazon was working on that show. Obviously, got canned, but I thought they had plans for her. So it's like clearly Sony thinks this character could do something. But to me, it has to be one of those characters. It can't just be Gwen Stacy as Gwen Stacy because it's the same thing. If she's just a regular girl, she's gonna get killed, right? I would love to be Gwen Stacy, but I just don't think it will be. I think they want to save that for Spider-Verse stuff. But I would love to be Black Cat as my pick, but I'd be completely fine with Silk as well. But my number one pick is, hero. So we got Hawkeye, Miss Marvel. Who else? Who else is like around his age that would be fun? I'm trying to think.
Does it have to be around his age?
What else you pitching?
I don't know, like Hella, Goddess of Life or something.
Hella?
Like,
Kate Blanchett?
yeah, get her in there.
Let's just find out. Tom Holland age is 28. Oh, Florence Pugh is pretty much that, right? 29. 1 year apart. Yeah, let's get Yelena and Peter Parker. Like, imagine that. He's dating a fucking spy, a killer. Like, oh, that's what I want. That is the dream. And then anytime they meet back up in Avengers or anything like that, oh God, Mike, Morgan Stark. Jeez Louise. Like
That's not far off. That's a good pick.
I think it is far off age-wise though now. I know Mike didn't mean it by that, but like that would be funny. But like, because wasn't she's only 5 and
she
Peter
is only yeah.
There's like a
That's
10-year
appropriate,
gap
yeah.
there. But Yelena would eat Peter Parker for breakfast. But that's what I would love. Imagine him being with Yelena and just like her beating the shit out of him. But like that's why he likes
That's
it.
not a healthy dating.
Well, in a good way, right? Like you know,
me again, Yelena.
no, like you know when they like
face.
you just watch Daredevil, like when Elektra and Daredevil are sparring and like they're getting all hot and bothered and stuff. So, Oh boy, or fuck, make him have a experimental phase. Who's a young guy? Get him with Wiccan. Get him with who's another young superhero boy right now? Not Scar. Don't even.
Damn it! I was just gonna say.
don't even pitch me on Scar. Oh, who's another young like chap his age that's in the MCU right now? I feel like they're older guys.
Can't remember any of their chaps, but I was gonna say there's America Chavez. Could always throw her in.
The American Chavez, yeah. Ironheart, there's another one. That could be fun because of Tony thing. That's probably better than the Morgan Stark one. But all right, Deborah Whitman. Out of all Spider-Man's girlfriends, that's the one that remains the most disturbing was when he dated Deborah Whitman. Peter met Deborah when he was a teaching assistant at the Empire State University and she was a secretary. The two developed a relationship despite her being with an abusive husband. I don't think we're going this route, but she began to have delusions that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and the worst part is that he lets her believe it. After this ends, she decides to divorce her husband and then leaves Spider-Man comics for years. Jesus, that's sad. Captain Marvel. Okay, I guess they've dated. Let's see. One of the most surprising girlfriends is Carol Danvers. After several years of working as a lone hero, they joined the Avengers, and that's when they dated. Okay. Well, how old's Brie Larson? She's not that old either.
No,
She's 35. So, like, what? She's like 7, 8 years younger, whatever. That's fine. At the time they dated, Carol was still going by the name Miss Marvel, and Peter revealed his secret identity. They didn't get much further than dating, but it was clear that Carol really liked Spider-Man, and that's what I want. I want just they date and move on, then that's fine. You know, that's kind of it. Let's see. Anna Maria Marconi. Anna Maria Marconi was never a Peter Parker love interest, but she was Spider-Man's girlfriend. What a fucking, imagine that. He's back with MJ. He's like, no, like Black Cat, like I'm not sleeping with her. Spider-Man's sleeping with her. This is when Dr. Octopus took over the body of Peter and became Superior Spider-Man. It didn't take long for Oct to become a hero, and he fell for Anna. So there you go. We're not doing that. Let's see. Michelle Gonzalez. One of the most hated Spider-Man girlfriends ever has to be Michelle Gonzalez. After Mephisto erased Peter's marriage to Mary Jane, which, hey, that could happen, Dr. Strange stuff, he had a new life and ended up with roommates with Vin Gonzalez, a police officer who was the partner of Charlie Cooper. Let's see. Michelle was Vin's sister. While she and Peter did not like each other at first, they started a date anyway. Then she became extremely overpossessive of Peter until Chameleon showed up and came between them, causing more problems until Michelle finally left for Chicago. Silk, we've talked about that before. Mockingbird, she's another hero. Sarah Rushman, I don't know who that is. Natasha Romanoff. Well, we talked about the Elena. You could do that. Betty Brant. They've never fully done that, but I don't think they're going that way. Silver Sable. It's kind of like Black Cat. You could do that. Emma Frost. When did this happen? But on Earth 2051, a young Emma Frost has a crush on Spider-Man. Emma reads Spider-Man's mind and is shocked by the pure heroism and kindness of Peter's mind. Because she instantly falls for the young wall crawler and tries to get in between him and his girlfriend. That didn't work out. Emma eventually turned herself into the police to repent. She did something there. Oh, okay. Jessica Jones, that'd be great, but we're not going down that route. Let's see here. Kitty. Oh, yeah, there's one. Kitty Pryde. That'd be fantastic. I was a massive fan of the Ultimate Comics, Ultimate X-Men, Spider-Man. There we go. We just heard Kitty Pryde's going to be in the X-Men movie, maybe. Get her dating Spider-Man. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The top three is Black Cat, Gwen Stacy, and Mary Jane. So there you go. We'll see. We'll see what will happen there. All right, let's take our last ad break, and then we'll do our last topic, and we'll be right back. All right, Taylor, I want to get your thoughts here on some Ghost Rider news. So there's some rumors coming out that Nicolas Cage will be back as Ghost Rider. He'll be in Avengers Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday. But at the same time, the same scoop report that Marvel has interest in Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider, which is very confusing, but maybe there's a way around this. So one, obviously you're excited about Nick Cage. Yeah, I think you're excited about any Ghost Rider because it's been a while. They're really making you wait to get some Ghost Rider. But you got Nick Cage there, and then this Ryan Gosling stuff, who's now working with the Disney family in a Star Wars movie. So what do you feel about all this stuff? I really got to turn the audio down that clip. That scared the shit out of me. God, I'm
Oh.
sorry, listening.
There was an episode me and Kirkland did, and we forgot that was the intro video. It scared the shit out of us when we went live. But no, I'm so down for this. This is absolutely fantastic. This is great. If it's true and it does pan out, I'm totally game for it. I think there was talks in Deadpool and Wolverine that maybe Nick Cage would come back in for that, but it obviously did not happen. So I think if you can get him in there for the Avengers, if he were to die or something like that, it would be unfortunate. I don't want to see his Ghost Rider die, but if he goes out like a hero, I don't know, just give me some kind of heroic end to that character. I just think that would be aces, because we never got Ghost Rider 3, so this would be like that spiritual successing. Like,
I don't know
closure.
about that. I don't think a cameo counts as a spiritual successor, but
It would, because I
okay.
mean, like, this is like Deadpool Wolverine is like the third in Elektra's
No.
chapter, right? Because you
No.
got her in Daredevil,
I
and you
don't
got
look
her
at it
own
that way.
movie, and then you
No.
got her here.
She's one movie, one chapter. She's other stories, but that book, that I don't look at Deadpool and Wolverine's the third Elektra movie.
No, that's fair. I really want him to appear. I want him to make that big screen. And ever since they canceled the Hulu Robbie Reeves show, I've just been waiting for something Ghost Rider. Because to me, canceling that show told me, like, okay, they got plans for this character. And it's been a long ride without any Ghost Rider stuff. So I think getting him back up and returning to that mantle is great. And he's come a long way. He's faced his tribulations and has done his due diligence to get back up as like a top action actor star.
Yeah, coming off long legs, that's big. You didn't talk about the Ryan Gosling portion of it. How would that work for you, though?
I have this whole vision in my head where Johnny Blaze he's dying or something has happened, and he just passes the curse off to Gosling's character, or we get a scene where there's two Ghost Riders, and just like in that first movie, we got them like one last ride scene where they're riding to both of each other, going to the town of San Benganza, something cool like that. Like I the idea of multiple Ghost Riders in one scene just gives me chills. Like that's definitely what I want to see that. So I think this is great, and let's get Gosling in there as a rider. I know we talked about Norman Reedus potentially before and a couple other people, but I'd love to see Gosling as this character, just to go insane and just really let this demon kind of torment him. And then that means we get to see him with Oscar Isaacs as Moon Knight eventually, I'm hoping. Midnight Werewolf. Doctor Strange. So there's a few other characters that would be really cool to see him with on screen. So I'm totally on board for all of this. Anything Ghost Rider, please. I'm there for it. So let's do it. Especially in an Avengers movie. I can't even wait. I'm thinking like, man, we're getting Ultimate Alliance 3 vibes here, where our team is fighting and like they're getting their asses handed to them, and then in comes Ghost Rider on his fucking bike with his chain, takes out like 50,000 guys and just joins the team. Oh,
Dies instantly, just gets decapitated. Yeah, because I was just looking, because like Ghost Rider, I like Ghost Rider, not as much as Taylor, but I'm not as vast knowledge of him. But I guess he could be the Daniel, aka Danny Ketch version. That's the third Ghost Rider, because you have the Phantom Rider, the Western one, and then Johnny Blaze, and he's the. Because I was just looking, because I know there's Robert Reyes, because when I heard this stuff, like, okay, the Nick Cage stuff, I know someone put out there as a scoop, but to me, it's like, sometimes these scoops in both wrestling and the entertainment we do, I swear we should just create a fake scooper account and just put out stuff that we just think is very likely. Because I feel like anyone they can get back, Secret Wars is multi-universes, all this stuff, right? This is the multiverse saga that's going to be the finale. I feel like anybody they can get that they haven't used before, like, yeah, sure, they might use Wesley again, but you don't have to, right? Because you had him in Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm saying the people that were on the board or off the board they didn't use, they're on the table, you know? So that's where it's just like, that doesn't surprise me. Maybe it surprises me that he's in both of them, but maybe the Doomsday end, you're really beating that mic up tonight, my God.
Yeah.
Maybe the Doomsday, like, third act or the end credit is all about setting up, like, oh, where's a, like the way they do in What If, right? There's like a multiverse Avengers or the Guardians of the Multiverse, whatever, right? There's some group of people that watch the multiverse. Sure, Nick Cage there, it would be a hype moment. I don't think it's like as hype as Wesley Snipes, but you have some of that, and then Secret Wars, that makes sense. And there would be some fun to have like Toby, Hugh Jackman, Nick Cage, because people used to do that, right? With those like 2000 to 2007 comic movies, say they're all in the same universe with Blade and everything. So there is some fun to do that there. You know, again, I hope they get Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I hope they get anybody they didn't get before, even though he canonically got killed off in Deadpool and Wolverine. But, you know, there's always another version out there, I hope. And then the Ryan Reynolds thing, you were the one, or Ryan Gosling, you were the one that made that sense, because it's like, why is this report happening right now? Because this has come up before, because Ryan Gosling had said, oh, I'd love to play Ghost Rider, and Feige's like, oh, yeah, I'd love to talk to him. And then there was reports that they'd maybe hemmed and haw about it, but maybe because it was so far away, they didn't do it. And I was like, well, why is this happening now? But I guess you're right, where that could be something where, like, there could be a fun Comic-Con moment where if they're introducing the cast and they're like, oh, reprising his role as Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, and they're like, Nick Cage, he comes up, big applause, and they're like, and, you know, debuting as Daniel Ketch, you know, another Ghost Rider, Ryan Gosling, and like, I feel like there's something fun about that. Or I feel like there's something even fun, like, imagine if they keep Ryan Gosling secret, and it's like, that's an end credit or a scene where he, like, Nicolas Cage gives his curse to somebody else, and I don't know how Daniel Ketch gets it or everything. So, and that's why I looked up, because obviously Robbie Reyes, the Mexican Spanish Ghost Rider, like, I don't think they're gonna cast Ryan Gosling as that, and Daniel Ketch, other than him having red hair, doesn't really matter. That's a, you know, good Caucasian person, so I think that would be a perfect kind of jump over. Now I'm down with that. I think Ryan. The thing why I was curious about is because this rumor came out after the Nick Cage thing. Like, that's odd timing, because why would you need him if you got Nick Cage? And the other thing was, I had said this on the Trust Told You, but I kind of thought that I had him on my draft, but there's always these rumors that Ryan Gosling was talking with DC or Marvel. I knew he was after a big franchise, especially after Fall Guy. To me, I thought, I don't know. And Super Mike says, no way Goss does Marvel and Star Wars. The reason I think he could is because, like, I don't think Ghost Rider is going to be that big of a role. Like, I think Ryan Gosling might be the type of guy that will play the Daniel Ketch parts, and maybe he'll do the CGI suit, or maybe it'd be like Bradley Cooper, who, like, yeah, go get Sean Gunn to crawl on the floor to be a raccoon, right? Like, he might be like all the Rider stuff. Like, I might come in for a day, but look at Pedro. He does mostly just voice now for that, right? So they could just have Gosling in his human form, do some voice lines, like, and it might be an easy paycheck for him, and maybe he's just in the family. But I was under the idea that once he signed on the Star Wars, we lost him for Marvel and DC. I thought, okay, he's going to pick one big franchise, because Gosling's not in that many big of franchises. So he's going to pick Star Wars, and that'll be it. Now, granted, someone's probably laughing because, like, let's see if Star Wars even happens, right? You can't even bank on that. I think it is, because I just feel like if they got him cast, they got a director, a writer, they got a production start date, I think it's happening. But you never know with Lucasfilm in this era. So, and yeah, I'm for it. Like, sure, maybe there's other roles I'd prefer him to be in, but I also don't think Gosling wants to sign on to, like, starring in 5 films. Where starring as Ghost Rider in, like, Midnight Suns and a TV show or a movie, like, I think that's a lot easier work. And yeah, I like Taylor's idea of the somehow passing on the curse or passing on the torch or whatever it may be. And hell, at that point, if they do the Ghost Riders, get Robbie Reyes in there too. Get all 3 of them. Some people say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon, so wouldn't that be something, Taylor? You're on screen, you're seeing all Ghost Riders with their different looks, because the Daniel Ketch one, it looks like he's more like a Blue Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, are you fine with that? Going that route?
I'm totally fine with Blue Fire, because that's something we see that Johnny Blaze acquires in Spirit of Vengeance at the end. He learns how to, like, bring back that's the demon into more like an angelic form. So like a spirit of justice instead of spirit of vengeance. Yeah, I think that's, I'm super down with that. Just any Ghost Rider.
Yeah, and I you know, that's a Taylor HD wallpaper there. Just imagine, like, Nick Cage Ghost Rider, the original form. You got Robbie Reyes with his car, and then you got Daniel Ketch the Blue Ghost Rider. Like, there's lots of juice right there, but we'll see. Taylor's he's showing some Ghost Rider work. I thought you were getting a fucking Hereditary crawling on the wall right now or anything, but yes, there you go. Nice, just good little newscast. One do the cap predictions before we did them, and a few other little topics. We'll be back. I think when you're listening to this, the Super Bowl podcast will be in a couple days, and then there'll be a bunch of drafts, the cap review, lots of good stuff coming your way, and I promise you, it'll not be boring.
Bye bye.